Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jelly here with not another video, but kind of just a collection of videos. I did this before last week, and I'm going to do it again, but this time it's going to be a video complete for beginners and beginners only. Now, with that being said, do not click off the video just yet if you're not a beginner, because there is a couple great things that I want to talk about real quick. Firstly, we are going to break 5,000 subscribers here probably within a week, and I do plan on doing a giveaway, about $100 in gold bricks. It's going to be either to one person who gets the full 100 or two different people, they get $50. Now, in order for you guys to enter that, all you have to do is be subscribed to the channel, enter the channel Discord, which is going to be in the description below, and I'm going to be putting a new channel there called Giveaway. Now, all you have to do once you're in the giveaway channel is enter your UID, the thing that you buy gold bricks with. If you guys have any questions, you are more than welcome to ask that. That's pretty much it. That's all you got to do to enter that giveaway. The second thing being said is that I did finally release my merch website. I just use Shopify. I'm not too technically advanced with that stuff, trying to figure it out still, but I did finally release the website. I did put in some work into it, so you guys can go check out the merch if you want. You do not have to, but the link will be in the description below, and if you guys have any questions about that, you're more than welcome to ask me there too. Without further ado, I do hope that you guys do enjoy this video. Thank you guys all so much for 5,000 subscribers. Yeah, if you're a newbie, I hope this video helps you out.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Jelly from Last War here, and I'm here to actually try to help you all today. A little background about me: I've been playing this game for a little over a year. My wife actually got me into this game. She played it much before me, and she was the vet that I learned from, and now I'm here to spread my knowledge. Now, as you may notice by my day count, day 61, that doesn't equate to a year. Well, truth be told is I played this game on a couple servers before, and I had some stuff happen in real life that caused me to step away from the game for a while, and by the time I came back, I was so underleveled, I decided to just start new, and here we are. I'm in a new server with a bunch of lovely people, and I'm sure most of you guys are actually watching this, and if you are, hi, nice to have you here, and I'm happy to see you. But regardless, let's get into today's topic, and by now, most of you guys are already aware of what it is, because it is the title to this video. I'm going to be talking about introducing gear for everybody, what hero gear is and why it's important and what about it and how you should go about doing it. Now, take in mind, I'm still learning the game myself, and what I may think is best may not be what another player thinks is best. In fact, what I may be spewing, a lot of the community may be completely against or have a difference and opinion than me. And if there are people who play this game that are watching this, please share your opinions below, because learning from one another is the only way that we're going to get better at this game. Now, a couple things to note before we start talking about this video. The first thing that I really want to point out is that you should only ever use your honor badges, your honor points, on gear blueprints. These are going to be integral for you to continue to grow later in the game. Maybe not now if you're beginning the game, or if you're in the first 60 days even like me. It may not seem like a whole lot now, but the more of these you have stockpiled, especially in the future, the better your life is going to be. So I beg you to only spend honor points on gear blueprints. Nothing else here is worth. The second thing I would like to touch on: gear is very important, and I don't want to understate the value of it. And as I said, there is differentiation in opinion across the servers, across the individuals who play, and it does vary completely dependent on your spending on this game. Now, I won't lie, I have spent a little bit of money, and by a little bit I mean a decent amount of money on this game, so I'm in the upper echelon of players within my bracket. I wasn't always a spender in the game, and I'm going to continue to preach the habits that I did when I was a very minimal spender. And that's essentially what today's video is based off of. When I was a very minimal spender or very low spender, at one point, I think I bought like 6 things, which was the extra builder, the extra tech center. I think I had like the VIP pack or something like that, and I bought the heroes. And outside of that, I was very minimally spent. But regardless of that, let's finally get into actually discussing what today's video is about. First thing, if you have played this game before and you're not new and you're not looking for advice or tips or anything like that, you should probably move forward to the video, because right now I'm just going to be talking about intro to armor, or intro to gear. So for those of you that are new, you're going to get gear, all sorts of gear from different things: completing daily tasks, clearing zombies around your base, participating in events, participating in PvP, things like that. Random things you're going to get all sorts of gear from, trucks, secret tasks, etc. Now, ultimately, you're also going to get this gear factory, and once you are a high enough level, I don't remember what level it unlocks at, but once you get it, you're going to want to level it up to just level 20. This is another very important thing. Never level your gear factory past 20 because, as you'll see, when I click on it to level it up to 21, it literally does nothing. It just improves power. It's not worth it. You're wasting resources and time in a builder. Don't do it. But regardless, you're going to get all sorts of gear, and it's going to be 4 tiers. There's going to be green, which isn't featured here. There's going to be blue, which is featured here. There's going to be purple. There's going to be orange. Now, something I notice a lot of young players do, or new players, is they'll get this gear and they'll equip it to their heroes and they'll be very excited. That's all fine and dandy and stuff, but what I personally recommend is actually don't, because you're just inflating your own hero stats and your own power, and you're gonna lose battles against people that have played this game before, and a lot of the times you're gonna be scratching your head wondering why. Well, the ultimate thing is the difference between orange gear and everything else is astronomical. If you look at just these stats up here, hero attack 895 as the orange gun versus the purple gun being 190, there's a 700 point difference between the two, which that alone is enough to win you some battles or lose some battles. The second thing I see people doing if they've never played this game before is actually leveling up purple gear. So you can't level up blue gear. I see people leveling up purple gear, and that's just not worth your time or the upgrade ore. Upgrade ore is it's such a hard thing to obtain in mass quantities unless you spend money on it, and even then the value for upgrade ore is not there. So regardless, my point is don't upgrade anything purple, and just avoid that at all costs. Something you should be doing as a new player, however, is pretty much breaking down all of your gear, purple, blue, or green, and dismantling it. You'll see it here. I have nothing to show here, but it'll all pop up here, and you'll want to dismantle it all. And once you have it dismantled, you're going to go over to merge, and you're going to merge each tier up. So you'll click on it, and then you'll click merge, merge all, and then so on and so forth, and you'll move all the way up the tiers until you get nothing but dielectric ceramics. Reasoning for that is, as I said, orange gear above everything else is just the pinnacle of what you want. Now that you know how gear works, what it is, and you have a basic understanding of everything about it, I'm going to take you into what you should be doing in order. Okay, let's just take it back a moment and let's pretend that you are a brand new player and you logged on and you decided you wanted the 99-cent Kim pack. So you bought Kimberly, which, by the way, is the best value in the game. If you haven't and you still have the opportunity to buy the 99-cent Kim pack, do it. You will not regret it. Say you bought that and you don't want to buy anybody else, you don't want to buy anything else, and this is what your squad looks like, at least for a while. Okay, so you'll have Mason, Kimberly, Monica, Scarlet or Violet, it doesn't make a difference, and Murphy. This would be what your squad looks like. Okay, so now that you know what your squad's going to look like, I'll break it down exactly in order of what you should be doing. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do once you have your hero lineup set is you're going to want to put a gun onto Kimberly. So yours is not going to be level 40, so I'll just grab a level 0 gun. Okay, so once you have your first gear made for Kimberly, which is going to be your gun, the next thing that you're going to want to do is head on over to Murphy, or your best defender, which will be Murphy, especially if you're a low spender. But if you're a high spender, I'm sure by now you already know that as you go on, Murphy not be your best defender, but regardless, you're going to want to go to your best defender and you're going to want to build a radar out for them. Next thing that you're going to do is going to be building guns for the rest of your squad. So regardless of whether they're an attacker or defender, you're going to want to do that. So build a gun for Mason, Monica, Murphy, and finally your other defender, whether it be Scarlet or Violet, which for this specific example, I have Violet. Next thing that you're going to want to do is build a radar for Violet or Scarlet, whoever your second best defender is. You're going to want to build a radar for your second best defender. If I haven't said it by now, you should probably be writing this down in a notebook or on something or in your notes on your phone, whatever the case may be. Then, top it off, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start building chips. So it's going to be this guy down here, the Hunter Data Chip, M5A Hunter Data Chip. Everybody on your squad, focus on giving it to your attackers first. Then after that, you're going to want to give it to your best defender. And then Violet. Now, all that should be left after chips is you're going to want to build armor for your 2 defenders. So obviously, you'll want to give it to your stronger defender first. And then you're going to want to give it to Violet. And then you're finally going to want to build out radars for your attackers. So back 3 attackers. You're going to give it to Kimberly first, and then Mason or your second best attacker, and then finally Monica or your third best attacker. But early game, that should be pretty much your squad. And then after that, you're going to just want to go ahead and give gear to all. And it doesn't really matter. I always recommend giving it to Kim first. And so after all of that has been done and in order, the way that I just said it, you should have a fully stocked out squad with gear. So every single individual should have full orange gear. So in my example, here's Murphy, here's Kimberly, here's Mason, here's Violet, here's Monica. Okay. So after all of that, you finally have your entire squad kitted out in gear, and you finally have gear for every single individual. And now you're asking yourself, well, what now? I have to level my gear, and as I said earlier, upgrade ore is hard to come by, and I'm here to kind of walk you through that as well. And if you haven't, or if you did already, put your notebook away, take it back out, because it doesn't get any easier, and I wish that this information was easy to attain and keep, but unfortunately you forget a lot of it, including myself. I've forgotten some of this, and so I'm trying to do my best to explain to you guys, and it's confusing regardless whether you've played the game or you haven't played the game, and I'm not the best at explaining things thoroughly. But regardless, your first rule of thumb, will use my second squad as my example. This is what your squad is going to look like. It'll have a bunch of level 0 gear across the board for all 5 heroes, and once that happens, you're going to want to, first things first, level every single piece of gear up to level 10. All 20 pieces. So nothing goes up to 20 or 30 or 40. You're going to want to level everything up to 10. Another rule of thumb, if you don't know this already, is to upgrade gears in batches of 10 levels. Now you may ask yourself, well, how do I know how much upgrade ore I need per level or per 10 levels? Well, I'll be honest, I don't have the exact number, and I'm sure you could probably look it up on the internet and get the exact number. But the best way I've always remembered it is it's 20,000 upgrade ore for the first 10 levels. It's 40,000 for levels 11 through 20. It's 60,000 for 21 through 30. And then it is 80,000 for level 31 through 40. So write that down. 20,000 for the first 10, 40,000 for the next 10, 60,000 for the third group of 10, and 80,000 for the last group. So all in all, about 200,000 upgrade ore, give or take a little less. So now that you know that all of your gear is level 10, you know exactly how much upgrade ore it takes to get each level or each 10 levels, because, and the reason that we level in 10, by the way, is because if you'll notice extra attributes, they only go up every time you level in groups of 10. Okay, so all of your gear is level 10 now. There is a specific way to do this. I do recommend personally getting your guns on your attackers up to level 40 first. So in my example, Schuler has a level 40 gun, DVA has a level 40 gun, and Kimberly has a level 40 gun. I would prioritize getting your 3 attackers' guns up to level 40 before anything else. After you have everything level 10, your 3 attackers' guns should go up to level 40. Then after that, you're going to want to do radars up to level 40 for your 2 defenders. So obviously, you should always go for your best defender first, and then your second best defender second, obviously. You'll want to get these radars up to level 40, and this is a painstakingly time-taking process. None of this happens quick, including building the gear. You may be asking yourself, well, you built all that gear, and I don't have enough for it. Unfortunately, it does take between a month to a month and a half to fully kit out your first squad in gear, sometimes even longer if you are completely free to play. It just takes time, and just like Clash of Clans or any other mobile game, or if you're like me playing on this computer, a lot of it takes a very long process. So anyway, once you have your radars up to level 40 on both your defenders, you're going to want to go for level 40 gear on both your defenders. Now, you'll notice how when I said to build gear, armor was the last thing that I told you to worry about, essentially. When leveling up, this is actually pretty important because of the hero HP and the physical damage resistance that you get from leveling this up to 40. I do actually recommend this. And then from there, I personally will focus on leveling up all 5 of my chips up to level 40. It is your personal preference whether you want to do attackers or defenders chips. It doesn't make a difference. Both benefit from it. Personally, I will do my defenders first because the resistance to all damage types makes me happy, and I like to play defense. Once all 5 of your chips are up to level 40, The next thing that you're going to want to be doing is leveling up your 2 defenders. So should be Murphy and Violet in the example I gave to you. You're going to want to be leveling their guns up to level 40. So from level 10 up to level 40. And then finally, the last thing that you're going to care about is getting your armor up to level 40 for all 3 attackers. So I'll go over it again. First things first, get all 20 pieces of gear for your first squad up to level 10. Second thing, get your guns up to level 40 for your 3 back row attackers, or support in Monica's example. Just get radars for your 2 defenders up to level 40, and then you're going to want to get armor up to level 40 for both defenders after that. The fifth thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get chips up to level 40 for everybody on your squad across the board, defenders and attackers alike. You're going to want to get all 5 of your chips up from level 10 to 40. Sixth thing is getting your radar up to level 40 for your attackers. Oh my god, I completely blanked over that when I was going into the definition. Wow. I forgot to say that, and I'm so sorry, and I'm glad that I put this in here now. The seventh thing you're going to want to do is get your guns to level 40 for your defenders. So in your case, Murphy and Violet, but in my case, Carly and Williams are my 2 defenders, so I'll want to get their guns up to level 40 as the second to last thing. And finally, the last thing that you're going to want to do is get armor up to level 40 for your 3 back row attackers or supports. That's pretty much the basics of it. If you're still sticking around, I'll explain a couple of other things too as we go forward. Once you reach up to level 40 for your gear, you'll notice how it pops up into this. I call this prestiging or tiering, whatever you want to call it. I'll always call it prestige. Now, you'll notice that I haven't touched on this or told you to prestige anything out of order compared to leveling. Now, there is reasons for that. I'm going to explain why you should wait until everybody's at level 40 across your first squad before you should start tiering. First things first, this is just a non-tiered gun, a non-prestiged gun, and I got it up to, or armor. I don't even know why I'm saying gun. I got it. It's an armor. I got it up to level 40, and this is what it costs to prestige it 1 time, and you need to prestige it 5 total times in order to get 1 tier. It is 23.5 million gold, which equates to, if you times it by 5, 125 roughly million gold per prestige level. Now, granted, it is phenomenal to get those tiers, but the gold outweighs the benefits of prestiging your stuff. And the reason we wait and we save our gold is because I'm sure some of you haven't noticed completely, but you will at some point. As you level up, in order to get level 10 troops, you can get level 9 from level 1 to level 9 all the way up just through leveling up barracks. But in order to get level 10 troops, you do have to do a thing called Unit X. It's called Special Forces in your tech tree, and you're going to have to get everything up to level 30 appropriately. It is a painstakingly long and gold expensive process. Just for one of these researches, it is 224.3 million gold. So the reason we wait for everything is because we want to focus on putting all of our gold into special forces tech in particular, so we can get T10. And gold is very, very hard to come by in terms of how much you need. You do need about 13 to 14 billion gold to complete your special forces, not including getting your HQ up to 30, your tech tree up to 30, your barracks up to 30, so on and so forth. It is a very expensive process, so that's pretty much why we wait to tier prestige all of our gear. But if you were past that and you do have T10 troops, or you don't really care for T10 troops, you don't think you're going to get there for a while, we'll talk about what is best for tiering. My personal opinion is this. I do believe that you should tier or prestige your gear evenly among all heroes. This varies completely by the individual, whether they want to be defense heavy, offense heavy, or if they just want to be balanced across the board like myself. And I'm sure people will leave their comments below about why they do what they do and why they do it. And I'm completely happy with that, and I hope that they do, because I still need a little bit of guidance myself. But what I do is I like to prestige all of my gear pretty much evenly, or focus specifically on one hero. So Carly, for example, once all of her gear is up to level 40, I may want to focus solely on prestiging all of her gear. So I will focus on this, and this on Carly, and everybody else is going to have no dots, no prestige, no tiers, but Carly's going to have 4 maxed out pieces of gear with 5 tiers. Now, the other portion of gear touched on slightly earlier in the video is that it's not just gold, but it's also upgrade ore, which is extremely hard to come by. Dielectric ceramics, it's not too hard to come by, especially after you have all of your gear made, but still trying to find this in bulk quantities is tough unless you're spending. Now I'm going to give you guys an example, but in order to do that, I have to jump over to my last server, and I have a bunch of stuff saved up because I just kind of stopped playing it. Okay, so we're finally over here on my other server, and as you'll notice, I wasn't lying when I said I was pretty free to play. I didn't spend a whole lot of money on this server. I do have my main squad up to 5 stars, but outside of that, I've done really not a whole lot. So I'll give you guys an example of what it's like to tier up over here. As you'll see, I do have a butt ton of everything, so it's not going to be an issue. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys are ogling if you're a vet over 130,000 upgrade ore, and I am too. I wish I could bring it over, but you can't. Regardless, this is how you tier up a weapon. So once it's at level 40, you'll notice 4 empty bars. Each time you click this button, promote, it fills up a bar. Each time you do it, it spends 12,500 upgrade ore, 150 dielectric ceramic, and 23.4. All in all, 23.4 times 4 is 114 million. You're going to spend 50,000 upgrade ore, and you're going to spend 600 dielectric ceramics just to get to here. Then you have to spend another 12,500 upgrade ore and another 150 dielectric ceramics. And here is the special thing I told you to save. Blueprints. Now to level up the first prestige, it's only 5. That's it. It's only 5. But I have a level 4 prestige gun over here. And you'll notice that I need these blueprints. These are going to be a completely different video when it comes to spending money, because you pretty much need to spend money in order to get those until way later in the game. And it's not even worth explaining in this video. But I do have a level 4 gun. Here's a level 2 gun, a level 2 prestige gun, and you'll notice that it's even more expensive. So in order to prestige it 3 tiers, if I promote, you'll notice now I need 15 gear blueprints to get it up to tier 3, which I just did. So now, to get it from tier 3 to 4, I need 20. Now, you need in total to get one gun from tier 0, so just level 40, up to prestige 5, 50 normal gear blueprints, 10 of the mythical gear blueprints, which are expensive. It's like $300 or something just to get 10 of them. So just to prestige it one time. So you need 50 normal blueprints, you need 10 mythic blueprints, and you need like 500 million gold and 250,000 upgrade ore. So it is not cheap, nor is it going to be fast to tier your guns. And there's a reason I say do it evenly. There's a reason I say get everybody across the board at the same time, or focus on one hero. Today's video is going to be focused all about tech, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, and how to do it properly. Now, before I even start and continue to go forward with this video, 2 things of note. Firstly, to all of my veteran players who have already played the game and are already past Special Forces, this is probably not the video for you. If you do want to stick around and drop your recommendations or ideas below in the comments and tell me what I did or didn't do right, you can go ahead and do that completely fine. I'm just stating that this probably will not be a helpful video for you if you're already at Season 1 or maybe even beyond that. However, if you do plan on creating a new account and you want to know the best way to go about doing tech, or you didn't really do it right the first time and you want to start over, this will also be helpful to you. Second thing of note before we go is the problem with tech is it is very expensive and it is very confusing. Across the board, tech can be very overwhelming, especially to new players. I'm going to do my best in this video to not make it overwhelming and pretty much put it in steps of what you should be doing. The only thing that I will be differing on from in order will be Alliance, Duel, and Special Forces when that time comes for you as a player. These 2 tech trees will unlock for you pretty much immediately. And for anybody that is buying Valor badges out of the daily must buy or the weekly deal for Valor badges, that is going to be your primary focus right off the rip. If you're spending money on Valor, obviously go for Alliance Duel, get that completely maxed out until you're ready to go to Special Forces. Now that we've moved on past my disclaimers, let's actually get into what we should be doing as an individual to make you a tech expert. Okay, so let's say you started a brand new account where you are brand new to the game and it's day 2 and you have the tech tree, you just don't know what you should be doing. Let's jump into the things that you should be avoiding at all costs as a new player or a veteran alike. This is something you should avoid completely. The economy tree you should completely avoid at all costs unless it is a VS day or arms race day and you need quick and easy points. Then that's fine to go through the economy tree. As you'll see, I did here 18%. This was specifically to get points for my arms race. Now, if you don't know what arms race are or VS is, that's completely fine. Don't worry about it. Just completely leave this tech tree alone. Once those things pop up in game, you'll notice exactly what I was talking about, and you'll use these to get free points for that. But regardless, economy's a no-no. Don't do it. It doesn't work well. It just does not help you as a player. And I know I'm going to get some comments based on that, so I'll explain my reasoning before you type angrily in the comment section below. Let's say you get down to the extra gold mine here, and you say, oh, okay, well, I want to earn more bread afterwards. You want to earn more bread, 4% more bread for one level of tech, and it costs you 600,000 bread to do one level. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're spending 600,000 bread, and by the time you're recuperating 600,000 bread from 4%, it's like it takes like 3 days. So it's 3 days worth of mining bread in your base just to earn enough to recuperate what you did. And I'm talking about specifically from that 4% buff. If you're earning 500,000 bread every 4 hours, that 4% buff is only going to give you an extra 20,000. So it's going to take X amount of hours to get you to make up for what you spent to increase that buff. And overall, this tech tree is just, I would avoid it at all costs. It's not worth it. It's not worth your time. So again, to summarize, the cost does not outweigh what you're going to be earning from this. That's going to become a common theme for the things I tell you to avoid, is the cost to what you're earning ratio just does not equal out. Let's go into the second thing that you should avoid as a new player, or at least until you've gotten through the rest of your techs. Squad 2 in specific, and also Squad 3. Which Squad 3 shouldn't even be a problem if you avoid Squad 2. Squad 2 will unlock once you get through Squad 1, so on and so forth. It's a waterfall. Squad 1 unlocks Squad 2, Squad 2 unlocks Squad 3. Except for Squad 4. Squad 4 unlocks, if you buy the Super Monthly Pass, this is what unlocks Squad 4. I personally don't pay for it, but if you do, Squad 4 is not a bad option. Regardless, don't do Squad 2, don't do Squad 3. It's not worth it. It becomes expensive. Just don't do it. The last tech that you should avoid as a new player would honestly, in my opinion, be Hero. I don't think it's the worst thing that you can do, clearly with my 42%. However, it does become incredibly expensive really quickly. Each tech cluster, so in this instance, it is 4 tank hero buffs. And each cluster costs a certain amount, or it's relatively the same. And as you go on, each cluster gets more and more expensive. Just for an example, we'll go to my level 3 to level 4 Tank Mastery 2. It costs 72 million gold. And my level 3 helicopter also takes 72 million gold. So you'll notice how there's an entire level difference, and it's the same cost. As you go through your techs, they do become more expensive, and after a certain point, it's just recommended to stop doing those techs unless you absolutely need to, or you're just swimming in gold and you're really, really rich and you've already finished everything else in this video. Then you can come back to do this hero tech tree. Okay, so now you know what to avoid. Let's go into a little bit in depth into what you should do and where you should start. The first thing that you should absolutely start is this development tree in the top left. Now you should start it and get all the way down to this extra barracks tech. This extra barracks is exactly what it sounds like. It gives you an extra barracks for your base. You'll notice that I have 4 total barracks. You get 3 of them from reaching certain level goals, and you get the 4th one from that tech tree. Now, along the way to getting the extra barracks, you also get some nice little buffs, an extra 5% construction speed, and then another extra 5% construction speed, meaning that it is 10% faster construction speeds. Something I may have not mentioned earlier, all of these techs add up. So it's not just 5% and then the next tree is 5%. No, it is 5 plus 5%. So it is 10 total percent, everything else after that. So I could unlock another 10%, and then I could unlock another 10%, and it'll all add up to be about 30 to 40% at the end of this tree. Now, I did say stop at the barracks, and I mean that not necessarily that the rest of the tech tree is bad. I just mean get to your extra barracks and then move on to the next tech that we're going to discuss. But in particular, this tree is not bad. I save the rest of this below for days that I need points, as I discussed earlier with Arms Race and VS. Because these techs are quick, easy, and pretty cheap to do, I don't think it's a bad idea to get to the bottom of this tech tree, especially the drill ground expansion and the survival skills are both pretty useful later on. So I don't think it's a bad idea to actually do this entire tech tree if you wished. I just stop at the barracks because after that, I want to save it for easier things. Once I'm finished with my development, I tend to move on to Squad 1. I think units in Squad 1 are pretty interchangeable, but I think Squad 1 should be maxed out immediately after your dev tree down to your barracks is done. Squad 1 gives you not only just a specific type of hero, but every hero and unit and drone in your Squad 1, which is this puppy out here. Everybody in that squad gets a specific buff from Squad 1. So for example, boost the HP for heroes in your squad. If you hit this 5 times, it gives you a 5% boost in HP for all of the heroes in your squad. So essentially a 5% overall to 5 heroes. Obviously, these all, at the end of the day, will add on to your Squad 1, and it's really, really cheap and pretty quick to do. So for example, one of the final techs that I haven't done only costs about 4 million gold and it's done in about 9.5 hours, which is the Hold the Line 1, and I didn't max it out yet. I'm just lazy and that's why I haven't maxed it out. Alongside with doing Squad 1, you should be trying to do something with the unit's tech tree as well. I find this to be a lot more important than some people think. I don't necessarily think it is the most important thing, but I do believe that the unit attack boost and the unit HP and the unit defense, and nobody really cares about the boost load capacity because this just means that you're carrying extra resources around and it's just not worth it. But the other 3, defense, attack, and HP, are all very, very nice, and I've gotten down to 77%. I will be maxing this out eventually. Now, you'll notice how I said simultaneously, and I'm going to jump into that really quickly because I want to make a quick disclaimer for this next part. What I'm going to be discussing right now is the second tech center purchase. Now, way later on, and I mean way later on, you do get a second tech center for free, but that's pretty much after you've already beaten the game and you're in season 2 or 3 or whatever the case it may be for when it unlocks and you've done everything else. So you essentially don't get a second free tech center for a long time. If you're completely free to play and you refuse to spend any money, this part doesn't even matter. But for those minimal spenders or people who will say, oh, I'll buy a couple packs here or there, or you buy the heroes, for example, I believe that the second tech center purchase for $9.99 is the absolute best purchase in the game outside of the 99-cent Kim pack. Now, I will make a separate video going over the best purchases, but the reason I want to bring this up in particular is because having 2 tech centers allows you to do double the tech researches simultaneously. I currently am doing one for my Alliance Duel and also one for Special Forces. But the earlier that you get that second tech center is the earlier that you can get your tech trees done. So if you have one focusing on Squad 1 and one focusing on units, that means that you're going to be able to get both done simultaneously. As if you only had one tech center, you'd only be able to get one done. Now, as I said, once you get Squad 1 pretty much maxed out and units close to it, like I'm at 77%, and if you have Squad 4 unlocked, you should probably also get that close to max, because I believe it is almost as cheap as Squad 1, if not even cheaper. Then you should be focusing on Alliance Duel Special Forces. Now, I touched on this a little bit earlier because this is a bit of a sticky situation or a catch-22. With Alliance Duel specific, you don't need resources, you just need Valor badges. Now, if you haven't played the game before and you're brand new, you may be asking me, well, what the hell are Valor badges? As I shown earlier in the video, you can buy them for $5. It's essentially 10 Valor badges per dollar. So 1 Valor badge equals 10 cents. It doesn't matter how you're buying it. That's always going to be the value of it. They're one of the most expensive things in the game that you can buy. How do you get them for free, you may ask? Well, that's kind of another situation. There's a bunch of ways to get Valor badges for free. It's just not a lot. For your first week in Alliance VS, you will only have the first 3 chests here. These are given to you completely for free, and that means daily you can earn 200 Valor badges for the first week. And the event goes on for 6 total days, meaning that you can earn 1,200 Valor badges weekly if you max this out and you don't have any of the tech done. You can also earn Valor badges from being top 5 for a day in your VS. So if you rank in the top 5, you'll get extra Valor badges. You can also get Valor badges from specific events that may happen. So I just had an event and it was called Goldies. We call it Goldies as a community, but its actual name is Zombie Invasion. Regardless, once you unlock Alliance Duel for your server and you start earning Valor badges, you should immediately stop caring about all other tech and put all focus into Alliance Duel. Now, once you are earning Valor badges and you are putting all of your effort into Alliance Duel, one quick note that I'm going to make before we continue with this is that you should be doing all of your Valor badge researches. So any research that requires Valor badges should be done on your tech day for VS. So that's typically on day 3. Age of Science, you get extra points by using Valor badges right here. I get 600 for using one Valor badge, and you should be focusing most of your early tech days on the Valor badge usage. So for me, Tech Day happens to fall on a Tuesday, so I will only start techs on for Valor badges on Tuesday. But regardless, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get all the way to the bottom of this Alliance Duel. Now, you don't need to get everything maxed out like I have here. In fact, I think you need to get this one to 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10 to unlock this. Is just one thing, so you unlock that to unlock the one below it, and then once that's at 1 out of 10, you can go all the way to the bottom of the tree. But in order to reach this, you need to get these two up to level 6 and this one up to level 1, or whatever the case may be. There's minimums before, and I'll show you an example of what I'm talking about right now. So for example, the bottom of the Alliance Duel Tech tree will have something that looks like this. It'll be grayed out. You're not going to be able to do it. You won't be able to do it. And it'll tell you why. So if you click on it, it'll say you need to research this tech above it. And so you'll research the tech above it. Once that's done, it'll unlock the one below it. Just like I talked about the waterfall earlier with squads 1, 2, and 3. Once you have this done, completely to the bottom, not maxed, but you have it done to the bottom and you have this one unlocked, then you're going to want to start focusing on special forces. And boy, oh boy, I don't even know where to start with special forces because it is expensive. Now you'll see my tech tree for special forces is the bare minimum because I'm just trying to get to the absolute bottom of this and unlock this so I can get level 10 units. And then I'm going to come back through after and finish everything else. So these techs, not only do they require more Valor badges than your previous ones. So for example, this one requires 1,500 Valor badges just to research at one time. It also requires a lot of gold, 160 million. This is very, very, very expensive. As you'll see, it needs me to research all level 10s for all 3 of these. And in order for me to get these up to level 10, I have to have the advanced protection up. But you don't need everything up to level 10. Because I can get this all the way up to level 10 with these being level 1. I know, it's confusing, and I'm sorry. But regardless, Special Forces takes a lot of gold, it takes a lot of Valor badges, and this is the whole point of my entire rant earlier talking to you about why we avoid certain techs. We want to save as much gold as possible to make our lives easier when it comes time to do the Special Forces tree. These bottom 5 techs here, to get them completely done so you can unlock your level 10 troops, it is like 14 billion gold. It is not cheap. It is a lot. And I have spent thousands of dollars and I'm still not even close to being done at the bottom. For the minimal spenders, this is not going to be obtainable. This tree is not going to be obtainable relatively quick. It is going to take quite a while to get here. But if you follow everything that I've said up until this point, and once Alliance Duel comes out, you start focusing specifically on Alliance Duel and Special Forces, that is the fastest, quickest, and most efficient way for you to get up to your level 10 troops. So as we've touched on with everything here, you do all of this, yes, but the second you unlock your Alliance VS, you're going to want to put every bit of effort you can into Alliance Duel and Special Forces. This is your primary objective, is getting through Alliance Duel and then starting Special Forces and trying to get through that as quick as possible. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, what if I don't have Valor badges and I spent them all on the Alliance Duel or Special Forces, and now my tech centers are sitting empty? Well, then, of course, it's okay to go back through and do some of these other ones. If you don't have the proper funds to complete either Alliance Duel or Special Forces, then it's fine. But just be weary that gold is hard to come by. And if you say, oh, well, I don't have the Valor badges, you're going to start doing heroes. And there you go. 40 million gold is out the window. And now you're going to be deadlocked by gold on Special Forces instead of the Valor badges that you may be struggling to come up with. Okay, I'm sorry if I lost most of you guys by now, and it is a confusing as I stated earlier, and I'm really doing my best to make it as simple as possible. But realistically, a lot of this is not simple. It's pretty confusing and maybe even complex as to the order you should be doing things. And if you saw this video and it didn't help you and you just threw it all out the window, I wouldn't blame you. It is a lot. It is confusing and it can be a lot to keep up with. But we are approaching the end of the video, and you'll notice I haven't talked about one of these texts that I have on my screen here, and that is Intercity Truck. I'm just going to recommend skipping this until after Special Forces is done, and then we're going to move on to the next texts in the next video that will unlock, such as Siege of Seas and Defense Fortifications, after Special Forces is done. So all in all, if you've learned anything from this video, it's that you should be doing these researches, but the second you start earning Valor badges, put all of your effort into Alliance Duel and Special Forces. Get through this as quick as possible. Get to the bottom of your Special Forces tree and have everything unlocked, the minimums that you need to get through. Once you have the minimum of this tree done to get your level 10 unlocked, then you can start going back through and doing some of the other stuff if you wish. And also one more thing of note, if you did do just the minimum of Alliance Duel to get your Special Forces tree unlocked, that is completely fine. And if you find yourself struggling for gold, and that's the only deadlock that you're having for Special Forces, and you are swimming in Valor badges, and you have so much Valor badges, it's fine to go back through and max out your Alliance Duel tree if you haven't already done so, like me, for example. I'm not deadlocked by gold, but I was deadlocked by time, and I said, you know what, I just want to finish my Alliance Duel, so I'm going back through, I'm going to finish up the rest of this tree, and then I'm going to go straight back to focusing on Special Forces. And also, if you're going to spend a lot of money, then yes, buying Valor badges, in my opinion, especially before Alliance VS is out, is incredibly worth it because it gives you a huge head start for when Alliance VS comes out. We're going to jump right into the basics of what the drone is and how you get it. So if you're completely new to the game and you just started and you're trying to get tips and you don't even know what the drone is or where it is, I'll explain it like this. I'm sure you know that you have to fight monsters around your base to get it completely unlocked, and at some point, way over here, you get your drone. Once it's unlocked, it becomes part of your squad, and it's permanently there, along with your 5 heroes. Now, the drone kind of acts as its own hero in that it does damage and it has its defense and all that fun stuff, but what else the drone does is it gives you buffs for your entire squad. But we'll jump into that later when I'm explaining what buffs it gives and how it works. In the meantime, I'm sure most of you are curious about how to level your drone properly. Leveling your drone at first can seem kind of difficult, and I know that sounds weird because it gets harder as it goes, but unless you know what you're doing, it can be tricky to get the proper things that you need to level. But if you want me to be completely honest with you, the drone is the most valuable thing for your entire squad. It is so important to have, and it has the best payoff by the end of the game. I don't mean the end of the game, but I mean whatever. You get my point. So in order to level your drone, it requires 2 things. It requires drone battle data and it requires drone parts. Now each of these can be obtained through different means throughout the game, whether it be this or that, and you can do this pretty much free to play. But as you can see here, I'm level 130 and I'm only at day 70 in my server. This is not obtainable completely free to play. I have spent quite a bit of money on my drone, and I do say if you do plan on spending money, dump it into your drone and buy your heroes. Those are 2 of the most important things because your drone is just going to be that much of a difference between you and the person you're fighting. Regardless, got a little bit off topic, but as you level, these get higher and higher. Both of these requirements become insane. So for example, at my current level, to get to level 131 from level 130, I need 2,000 drone parts. If you're going from level 5 to level 10, you only need 5 drone parts, or you only need 10 drone parts, and it exponentially grows and grows and grows. And the same thing with drone battle data. We'll focus on one thing at a time though, and right now we're going to focus on drone battle data, how you can get it, how much you need, so on and so forth. Right at the beginning of the game, you're going to be a little bit strapped for drone battle data. I'm currently at 2.3 million, so I'm not really a good example, but in the early game, drone battle data is actually the trickier thing for you to obtain because you don't need as many drone parts, so what drone parts you do get can just be dumped right into it. So we'll go over a couple ways that you guys can obtain drone battle data. So if you click on your outside of your base and you click on your world map and you zoom out, I'm on computer. If you're on phone or tablet, it's going to look a little bit different, but this is what it looks like on this. You're going to click this little magnifying glass down here. And these are how you run rallies. So for example, you can kill zombies, you can go to all these different tiles to earn resources, or you can kill Doom Elites. Now you'll notice it says potential reward, and right down here it shows you the entire list of things that you can get, and in this bottom left corner you'll see drone battle data. At level 30 I get a 1,600, but if you're early game you'll get about 1,000, a little over 1,000 per kill. Now, in order to rally a Doom Elite, it does take 20 of this stamina up here in the top left. But honestly, this is the best use of your stamina, especially if you're aiming just to get drone battle data. Not only that, but the resources do add up after a while, and so does the hero XP of killing Doom Elites, and every other little award is nice. Now, you do also earn drone data from doing these little radar things. If you go back to your base and you click on this little radar thing once you unlock it, you'll have all of these little things. Now, I'm not going to click on them. Actually, I'll click on a couple. So that one I didn't earn any, but some of them you will, just like that one. I clicked on that, I got 800 battle data, along with a couple of other things. But regardless, those are your two main ways of earning drone battle data really early on in game. Another way you can earn drone battle data as you go on is going through the campaign store and buying it in bunches of 10k for 1k campaign medals. However, that's not really obtainable super early on, and once you do start earning campaign medals, it's actually better to spend all of it on these chests and stuff up here that I currently have sold out. I would focus on all of that first. Yes, including the drone parts, but we'll touch on that very shortly. Otherwise, there's not a whole lot to earn drone battle data. In fact, I would argue that it's pretty hard to obtain unless you're using a lot of stamina. There is little things here and there that you can do to get more drone battle data, such as right now there's currently a Halloween celebration going on. They typically have one for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and other major holidays. As you can see here, I can get 100,000 battle data for 5 tickets, and you can get these tickets relatively easy, especially even if you're free to play. Now, I have spent money on the event, but I know plenty of people that haven't spent money on the event, and they do get the drone battle data. And I'm almost 100% positive, I might actually be mistaken, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's actually the only places that you can currently obtain drone battle data without purchasing it. We will go into the purchasing options later in the game. If you guys do plan on sticking around or you do plan on spending money, I will have that later after the free-to-play tutorial is done. Otherwise, we'll move on into the next thing, which is drone parts. Now, drone parts are actually quite a bit easier to obtain than drone battle data, as in there's more that you can do to earn drone parts. However, you're capped at so many drone parts per week doing this various thing or this various thing that it ultimately just becomes harder and harder to level. So one of the examples I will give you is that in the Alliance store, you can actually purchase drone parts. I have already bought all of mine for the week, so I'm sold out, but it is pretty important that you guys join a nice alliance so that you can get all of these alliance campaign or alliance contribution medals, and you can buy all these drone parts weekly. Now, there is other ways that you can earn drone parts throughout the honor store. I don't recommend that at all, as I touched on in my gear video. Always buy the gear blueprints. You can buy them in the campaign store as well. I do recommend buying these out pretty immediately. You can buy it in the VIP store. I do not recommend this. Do not spend your diamonds on this. If you are completely free to play or very low spend, always spend your diamonds on VIP. Otherwise, as I was saying, you can buy them here. Don't do that. It's not worth it. Those are all the ways that you can buy drone parts. Other ways you can earn drone parts are technically throughout these. Once you get your radar up to a certain level, you unlock these things called digs. I'm sure most people know what digs are at this point. If you don't, they're essentially these things that pop up on your radar. You click on it and everybody in your alliance goes to it, and you all have to tap as fast as possible to unlock the rewards. The best of these digs is called a drone dig. The drone digs give you drone gears and drone component boxes. You do get 15 drone gears for that, drone parts, whatever you want to call it. I'll call it gears or parts. You'll hear me refer to it as both throughout the entire video. And you can even get double rewards, which gives you 30 per dig. Now, I completely forgot to touch on it, but after a certain point, your alliance unlocks a great thing called a train. Now, when the train pulls up, there is actually a real chance that you can get both drone battle data and drone parts on your train. If you're lucky enough to be selected, or if you're lucky enough to be the conductor, you get a guarantee at those rewards unless somebody plunders it and takes it. Other little ways that you can get drone parts are daily. If you do these daily tasks, you get drone parts, which are really nice, especially early game because they add up. And even later on, they add up. It's not a whole lot, but it's enough to make a difference. You get about 6 drone gears per day. And if you do that for 100 days, it's 600 drone parts. And I think that's actually everything in terms of what you can earn for drone parts, if I'm not mistaken. I might be completely blanking on something, and I'm sure I'm going to remember it after I film the video, where else you can get drone parts. Outside of like little events again, kind of like this, right here, this Halloweenopoly, you can get drone parts from random things like this Halloweenopoly event. You can grab them from landing on certain tiles or hitting this chest. You get 20 different little things like this all over the place. You get drone parts from, but honestly it becomes a bit trickier to get. I always do recommend buying your stores out except for the VIP portion and the honor portion. Always buy your campaign and always buy your alliance drone parts. Those are very, very, very valuable, and you will thank me long term if you're doing that. Now, we've talked about this pretty much all video, but one thing I forgot to mention earlier on, and I'm going to mention now, is that if you are to the point where you have Alliance VS unlocked, the day that you're going to want to upgrade your drone is always day 1. You're going to get so many points from using battle data and so many points from using drone parts that you want to save all of your stuff for day 1 of Alliance VS. If you haven't unlocked VS yet, I would go ahead and start saving for day 1. Save everything up until your first VS to help your team maximize the points and win as much as possible. Now, as I stated before, that's just the first half of the drone. The second half of the drone, as of right now, is drone components. Now, I have pretty high level drone component parts because I know the value of this, and I spent a lot of time and even money putting stuff into this. Now, drone component parts are a bit different versus the gears and the data. You don't need drone components leveled up in order to level your drone, and vice versa. You could have this leveled up completely to level 12, and you could have a level 30 drone. You don't need each other to work, but obviously both are important. In my personal opinion, this is actually more important than actually leveling your drone. Don't get me wrong, I do think it's important to level your drone, but I think it's more important to actually have your drone components leveled. Now, as you see, there is 6 different drone component parts that you can get. Each one has a separate buff that it does for your squad. Not just one squad, all of the squads, because your drone is automatically attached to all 3 squads. It gives each and every squad the same buff. Now, obviously, you can see how this can be a complete game changer, especially for people who have multiple good squads, or if you're trying to balance your squads out, which I don't recommend. I do recommend focusing on one squad, but if you are trying to balance them out, this completely changes that across the board. My drone is at almost 5 million power, which means that of the 18.5 million power that my squad 1 has, almost a third of it comes from my drone. One thing to touch on too as well before we actually get into what each component does, there is 2 sides of the coin here, the left side and the right side. The right side, the drone component parts are trickier to obtain than the stuff on the left. I'll give you an example really quickly. If you click on any of your drone component chests and you click on information, it tells you exactly what the odds of you getting that specific part are. So the stuff on the left each has a 22.2% chance of dropping out of the chest, except for the armor, which gives you a 22.3, yippee-ki-yay. And then the stuff on the right side gives you an 11.1% chance to come out of the chest. So as you can see, everything on the left side is a lot higher of a level than the stuff on the right side, with the exception of the missile. Now, that is only because I've spent money specifically to try to get the missiles out of this. We will touch on that very, very shortly. Regardless, what each thing does. The radar gives you drone HP up until you get it to level 8. It also gives you a 1% reduced chance of taking critical hits to your squad, but early on, you're really only going to see this drone HP, and it's probably going to be a while before you have a level 8 unless you're spending money. Next is the turbo engine, or just the engine if you want to call it that. This also increases HP, but instead of it being a drone, it is your hero HP, so all heroes in your squad get a buff by 185,000 at level 7, and so on and so forth. External armor research increases your hero defense. Obviously, the higher level it is, the better it is. Also, once you get to level 8, it includes a 5% buff to hero defense, and then even more as you get through. Thermal imager upgrade increases your drone defense itself, and obviously, once you get it to level 8, it also increases the crit rate of what your drone does. The fuel cell upgrade increases your drone attack pretty exponentially per level up. This is pretty important. And once you get it to level 8, it also increases the crit damage of your drone. And finally, the airborne missile increases your hero attack and boosts your skill damage of your squad every level. And then once you get it to level 8, it also increases your hero attack up to 5%. So as you can see, these are all really, really important. And the stuff on the right side is your damage stuff. The stuff on the right side is better, which is why it's harder to obtain, especially the airborne missile research. Regardless, now that you know what each thing does and why it matters what it does, I'll get into how you actually obtain this stuff. Now, there is 1,000,001 ways to earn drone component chest boxes. First thing that you'll get as a low level is a component factory, and this actually produces one drone component box. In my example, it gives me a new drone component box every 3 hours and 38 minutes. I don't recommend leveling this too much because honestly, it's not really that worth it. It only gives you a level 1 drone component box, and it's just not worth your time. There is so many ways to earn these boxes, it's not even funny. We'll go over the first couple of ways. Firstly, you can get them randomly by doing these. Some of these just give it, and then also obviously the drone dig, as we already touched on, gives you drone component boxes as well. So radars are pretty important for your drone across the board. The train also gives you a chance to get drone component boxes too. I think I might have mentioned that, but it gives you that. So the train gives you all 3 if you're lucky enough to get on that. Secret tasks, once you unlock these, some of them do have a chance to give you a drone component box. So like this one gave me 5 level 2 drone component boxes. When you're a lower level and you don't have as high of level secret tasks, you're going to get lower level stuff and you're going to get less of that. You get drone component boxes from doing your VS daily. If you look at these, some of them give you level 2 drone component chests, or for example, this one gives you a level 3. Also the same thing with if you rank in the top, we'll say, if you rank in the top 10, you get like a level 4 drone component chest, or 2 level 3s, or a level 3. You can buy drone component chests out of the Alliance store. There's 20 of these. Recommend buying those out weekly. Same thing with the campaign store. You can buy 3 of these. I definitely do recommend that as well. Very, very important. Different awards such as the Goldies event or Zombie Invasion will give you an option to buy a few in the store. I think it's 3 of the level 3 component chests, which I unfortunately don't have at the moment. But as I was just showing you here, the General's Trial also gives you a level 3 drone component chest for every time that you do it. So for example, if you beat 20 of them at level 6, you get a level 1. Or for the first time you do the General's Trial, you're not going to get it. Or even the second time, or the third, or the fourth. But finally, once you get to level 5 General's Trial, you start to unlock these doing that. Different events offer different ways to get it. Always check your events and always make sure that you're participating in what is there. So you'll notice that you're going to get a ton of these daily, weekly, and throughout random things. You're just going to earn these. There's so many ways to earn drone component chests. And it may seem like you're getting a lot and you're like, wow, this really isn't that hard. But once you get up to like level 5, for example, it takes 3 of the previous level to combine up to 1, and then so on and so forth. So in order to get a level 3, you need to have 3 level 2s, but that also equates to 9 level 1s. And that multiplication keeps going and going and going until you're at a point where I'm at. Level 7 requires 3 level 6s to just upgrade once. I need 3 level 7s to get up to level 8. I currently have 1, which means I need 2 more. But if we just want to say, for example, I don't have any level 7s and I'm trying to get to level 8, I need 3 level 7s, which is 9 level 6s, which is 27 level 5s, which is 81 level 4s, which is 243 level 3s. And I'm just not even gonna go into it. It's like over 1,000 some odd. It's almost 2,000 level 1s just to get to level 8. It's a lot. It takes a lot of these drone component parts to get you up to a high level. And after a while, you're gonna start to notice it slowed down because it's just not equating to what it used to. So now that we've touched on the 3 different portions of your drone, how to obtain it for free, there's also other ways and other things that I didn't really even touch on, but you will earn throughout the game randomly if you do spend money or if you don't spend money. A couple of those things, maybe like these luxury choice chests. If you click on it to use it, you do get an option to get drone parts or drone component chests. If you have these chests, whether it be the luxury choice chest or the deluxe choice chest, never pick anything other than the drone parts or the component chests. Nothing is worth it. Not a single thing. I don't think the shards are horrible, and I don't think the upgrade is horrible. But for your value, drone parts and drone component chests are going to be your best bang for your buck. And obviously, I don't even think I really need to touch on the resource chests. You get resources from doing just about anything. Do not waste these on resource chests. As you get into your later levels of your drone, you're going to be noticing that everything takes a lot more. So for example, level 131 isn't going to take a single drone part, but it will take 1.5 million drone battle data. So I'll need about 7 million drone battle data to get from level 130 to level 135. But I'll also need about 2,000 drone parts. That 7 million battle data is going to be so easy once you actually get through this campaign and you can actively buy battle data. You're going to be so deadlocked in drone parts, you're not going to care about anything else except for your drone battle data. I often get quite a few questions about what are the best things to buy. Well, personally, what I think, if you're looking to spend money on this game, but you don't want to spend a whole lot of money, the drone components right here for $5, this daily must buy. I think there's a $5 and a $10 pack. I bought those every day up until I got level 7, and the same thing with the drone parts. Those two are very, very important if you plan on spending money. I do recommend these. Also, out of the weekly deals, right down here, you'll see the drone component and the drone parts. I bought both of those quite a few times myself. And you'll notice right here, there's a special chest. It's a drone component choice chest. I don't care who you are, who your father is, what day of the year it is. Always, 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 out of the drone component choice chests, pick one on the right side. Never, even if you need just one more to get to a level higher on the left side, don't pick it. Pick something on the right side. Me personally, I'll always pick the missile. As of right now, I'll probably go with the fuel cell because my missile's already of level 8. But always pick one on the right side if you have a drone component choice chest. You get those a couple of different ways. Obviously, the main one being that you can buy it through here in the weekly store, right down here. Same thing with like the glittering market. You can spend money, get another drone component choice chest. There's not really much else for your drone outside of just that and these deluxe choice chests. I do recommend that every day if you're going to be a low spending player. All these other different like spending events that you can do, or there's going to be different battle passes that come out that offer drone battle data or drone parts or whatever may be. I actually don't think that's the case at all. I don't think there's a single one that offers. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think there is. So that's pretty much the rundown of what drone is, how to get these parts. If you're at a standstill or you're a higher level drone, like a level 70, a level 80 drone, or even like a level 60, and you're struggling to find the parts, unfortunately, it's just about the timing and how long it takes for you to get each thing. Unless you plan on spending money, the drone is always going to be your chokehold. It is always going to struggle to get up to the next level. And so unfortunately for my free-to-play players, if you do experience this, it's not really but there's not really a good answer to give you guys about how to get through that. All in all, that's pretty much everything that I can sum up for now. I will definitely have a second drone video in the future once drone chips come out. For me, it's about 2 weeks. They'll be out. I'm at day 70. They come out day 82. I'm going to give myself a few days to actually get the stuff that I need to start making the videos. But as you can see, I wasn't playing when I said that the drone is very, very important, and it is very vital to you as an individual and to all of your squads, your heroes and stuff to try to focus on this. In some instances, this is actually more important than any hero on your squad, because this doesn't just focus on one hero or one thing, it focuses on all heroes in all squads. It genuinely is a life changer if you have a high level drone.
If you've made it this far into the video without subscribing, leaving a like, and commenting, go ahead and do those things now. I do appreciate you all so much. I know I talked about it earlier at the beginning, but we are approaching on 5,000, and we probably will be at 5,000 by the time that this weekend rolls around. With that being said, without you guys, I don't know where I would be, and this has been a dream come true. I really do appreciate everything that you guys do for me. So yeah, just make sure that you guys are subscribing if you're enjoying the content, and if you found this video helpful, or any of these videos helpful, just go ahead and leave the comment below what you thought was the most helpful part of this. Back to your guys' video, enjoy it.
Let's talk about what VS is, what it does, how to do it, and what it gives. So firstly, VS or Alliance Duel is your alliance versus another alliance getting matched up, going head to head, and whoever scores more points for that day wins. And whoever scores 7 points for the week wins. There's 13 total points, so the first 1 to 7 wins. This is a 6-day event, and each day has something unique about it, or it is a different type of thing that you should be doing, or the day is a cumulative of what has happened already throughout the week. Now in this example, my alliance is losing to another alliance from a different server, and that is exactly what what's going to be happening. You're not going to win every VS unless you're a super alliance, but you're also going to be facing different alliances from different servers. Your first couple of alliance duels might be intra-server or in-server, meaning that you'll face somebody from within your own server. But after that, you should strictly only face people out of server unless there happens to be an overlap in the game's mechanics. This event is permanent. So the second that it starts at week 3, I think it is up here. It started day 18 for us, so almost week 3. It pretty much goes on forever. I think there's a very few weeks that we actually have off that you're not participating, but otherwise it's a permanent event that's there forever. So these rewards that you get are there forever. So each day is kind of unique, as I was saying earlier, in that it has different things that you have to do. So for example, I'm in day 2 right now. Day 2 is base expansion. So my entire prerogative to score points today is by doing these things that are here on my screen right now. I'm going to do a deep dive into what each day is and how to really maximize your points for those days in just a little bit. I just wanted to give you guys kind of a background about how to score points. Eventually, you guys will get into leagues where it's 16 alliances that are in one bracket, and obviously it's kind of like the Sweet 16 from college basketball, the championship, the tournament, where it's playoffs. You win, you're in; you lose, you're out. Right now, there's 4 people that have won twice, which is our alliance, and 3 others, and we're currently facing another one that has won twice as well, which happens to be HAPS. This isn't super important for now. I'm just going to go over the basics of what VS is. So I already touched on how it works, why it happens. I didn't really touch on how it works, so I'll kind of go over that right this second. It literally just, it's at random. So for example, your first week where it's in server, it's basing you off of somebody or an alliance that is similar to your power. And they try to do that pretty much as long as they can, but eventually it just becomes hard to match you up against an alliance similar because you've gone through most people that are in the same bracket as you. So as I said, a couple more things of note before we really jump into how you can maximize your points is that you should be maximizing your points when it matches up with double dip time. Now what that means is, yes, I have 24 hours to do all of this stuff here. I have 24 hours to use construction speed ups or building power or upgrading my buildings, dispatching trucks or secret tasks. But this one right here, these two are pretty important to look at because the construction speed up and building power, I also get points for in my arms race. Now arms race only lasts 4 hours. So in this particular instance, this started at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 16 hours after recess. So I waited 16 hours to really score any points for my VS because I can maximize my points for my arms race and my VS. Now, the reason you want to wait until your arms race aligns with your VS is because eventually everybody will get Warzone Duel. And once you have Warzone Duel, you get points for winning your VS, points for being the Alliance VS MVP, you get points for winning your arms race, so on and so forth. So it's pretty important to actually try to maximize the amount of points that you're scoring for both arms race and VS, and you want to have them overlap. Now, I say my example is because each server is different in that you might have a different time that your double dip happens. So for day 2, my double dip happens at 1 p.m. for base expansion. However, your base expansion double dip time might be at 3 a.m. your time. It does make a difference, and make sure that you're paying attention to when your double dip time actually is. The last thing of note is that the second you have Alliance VS unlocked and you're actually going through and getting your boxes, which I'll go over in just a minute, you're going to want to start doing this Alliance VS tech tree. This one right here, Alliance Duel. You're going to want to try to maximize these. You're going to want to try to get as many points. You want these all to say max by the time you're done with this. Obviously, getting down to 7 through 9 is more important than maxing everything beforehand. So just do what you have to do to get to the bottom and then come back and work your way through getting these all to max. I know that sounds weird, but for an example here, I haven't done my training yet. So if I upgrade this tech one time, I get an extra 5% more points towards my Alliance VS for training units. So right now I might get 100 points for upgrading my units, but now afterwards, after I upgrade this, I'll get 105 points for upgrading my troops. The more you and everybody else in your alliance has these maxed out or higher rated, the easier and better you guys are going to score more points day in and day out. Some people think that tech day is harder, so having your incentive research up pretty much to max makes your life a bit easier when it comes to actually scoring for tech day. So for example, I might get 25 points for increasing tech power by 1 point, but somebody who doesn't have it maxed may only get 5. So for every tech that we're doing, I'm getting an extra 20 points per power. And if that's 100,000 power that I'm gaining from doing using tech, that's an extra 2 million points. So you can see how important it is to make sure that your Alliance vs tech tree is up and maxed out, at least in my opinion. Maybe not completely maxed, but getting a lot of this done. Finally, after all that, we're going to actually go into what you should do to maximize your points day in and day out. So obviously, you guys are all listening to me when I say that you're waiting until double dip time to actually use this stuff. Pay attention or ask somebody within your alliance or server what double dip time is if I didn't do a good enough job explaining it, and ask them what time it is for you and your server, and then you can go ham. I don't care what you do. But regardless, day 1 is using 1 stamina. So obviously we know that you get stamina from doing just about anything in the game. So if you want to fight Doom Elites right here and you click rally, it tells you exactly how much stamina it uses at the bottom. I know it gets cut off on my video over here, but for right now it says 20 stamina is what I use. So if I get 600 points per stamina usage, then 20 stamina would be 12,000 points. Stamina does actually bleed over into your drone boost during arms race, so try to maximize your stamina usage during your drone boost time anyway. Second thing is completing radar tasks. This one's kind of important for you guys to remember because this does happen a few times a week. Obviously, we all know what a radar task is. You come over to the radar, this little exactly what it looks like, a radar, and click on it, and now you'll have your radar tasks here, and you'll want to click on these to complete it, and you'll earn points that way. However, this one's unique in that it happens 3 days a week, so 3 of your 6 VS days, you get points for using your radar tasks. Now, in order to maximize those, you typically want to take the day in between of those 2 days off. So day 1, you get points for using radar tasks, and day 3, you get points for radar tasks, but you don't get any for day 2. Now, what that means is on day 2, over here on your radar, you should be doing your tasks, but not collecting them. You may be asking, well, that's confusing. What do you mean by that? Well, as you'll see, some of these tasks have little red dots, and if they have little red dots, that means the second you click them, you complete them, just like this. Now, what that happens is, if you have tasks up here in the top left, you'll see that more pop up onto your screen. Now, what happens is if you do these tasks, you click go, you click help, now you're going to go do that task really quickly on your radar, and you're going to come back, and now it's going to have a little red dot. Do not click it again on your day off. Obviously, for day 1, you would click the red dot, but on day 2, do not click the red dot. Do not claim it. Do the radar, but do not claim it. Same thing with this one. You'll do the radar, then you'll come back. You'll wait for that to finish. There goes my little guy across my screen right there. And once it's done, it'll pop up with a little red dot, just like it did now, and do not click on it again. You will save these until day 3. And if you noticed ever, you'll see in the top left how many you have. So I have 11 extras behind these, and I can hold up to 35 extra. Always keep it 1 below the max, because otherwise you won't be getting new radar tasks. You'll see I have 11 radar tasks being restored in about an hour and a half. And if this were at 35 out of 35, it wouldn't be making new tasks, nor would I be able to hold new tasks. So always keep it at 34 out of 35. And if you see that you're going to have a new bunch come right before reset, then obviously do the amount of tasks before it resets. So for example, if you have 24 out of 25 and it says you have 8 more tasks coming in 5 minutes, but resets in 10, make sure that you're doing 8 tasks to keep it at 16 out of 25. That way it refreshes, keeps you at 24 out of 25, and then you can still have the max amount of tasks at reset. I know that's a bit confusing, but I really needed to touch on that, and it's kind of important for everybody to know that radars are the most important thing for you to keep in mind. Regardless, day 1 also has Hero EXP. Now, you won't ever really use Hero XP in day 1. You shouldn't have to unless it is an absolute emergency or your leadership tells you to. The reason for that is because we do have Hero Day on day 4, which also uses Hero EXP. And that day is typically a lot more higher scoring than any other day of the week. So you want to save your Hero EXP for Hero Day. That way you can score high with everybody else. Again, use at your own discretion. I don't recommend doing this unless you absolutely need to, because you don't have drone parts or drone data. Anyway, you come down here to drone battle data and drone parts. You'll go over to your drone, and obviously for every time you level up your drone, you're using data or parts. That is obviously what you want to do. Now, this is very important that you guys realize. So I just went over pretty much all of what day 1 is, except there is one more thing, that if you're gathering at resource tiles like here or here, you do get points for that. It's not a whole lot of points. I don't do it just because I don't really care enough to do it, but if you want the extra points, you're more than welcome to. This is very important that you guys remember this. Day 1 is drone day. That's what I like to call it. It says radar expansion or whatever it is, but I call it drone day because that's what you get the most points from. Now, I will upgrade my drone on drone day. I will use just enough to get my max amount of points, and then I will save the rest for next week. And yes, you heard me correctly, next week. You do not want to be upgrading your drone on a non-drone day. So if your drone day happens on Monday, You shouldn't be upgrading your drone on Thursday. You shouldn't be upgrading it on Friday. You shouldn't even be upgrading it on Sunday or Tuesday. You should only be strictly upgrading it on those Mondays. Not only does that help you maximize your points for that week, but it also helps you maximize your point for the next week afterwards as well. Because it's not going to be easy every week to gain the stuff that you need in order to score your 7.2 million if you have all 9 boxes. And this goes pretty much in and out for everything else too. This is a very vital, important thing to remember. You do not want to be using anything for that entire week unless it is for that specific day. So that's pretty much day 1 up in everything that you need to know. Obviously, I said gather food, iron, or gold. You get points for that as well. And obviously, buying packs containing diamonds, 1 diamond equals 30 points. This happens every day. And if you're not spending money, which is what I'm trying to make these videos more geared towards, it doesn't even make a difference anyway. Day 1 becomes a bit harder later on once your drone is at a high level like mine is, where especially at every 5 levels where you use drone parts. Don't forget to check out my drone video right up above. It's pretty helpful. But for me, it's pretty hard. Right now, I can come up with the data to level my drone, but I won't have the parts, so I'm waiting and I'm only doing 1 level or enough to get my 7.2 million weekly until the next week. Self-control, self-control, self-control. That is the main thing I can teach you. It sucks. It's horrific to wait. I hate waiting myself, especially for Hero Day, but it is so important, and it will pay off in the long term if you wait, because you will get more rewards over a longer period of time. Anyway, we'll move on to day 2. Day 2 is base expansion, and we're currently in day 2. Now, as I mentioned, you should be waiting for double dip time, and it's actually, at this moment as we're speaking, double dip time for me. It is base building, so I get points for increasing building power and construction. And it's also what I get points here for. So these top 2, using construction speedups and increasing building power. So obviously using speedups is going to get you points just like this. You'll watch it pop up on my screen right here at the top. It'll be 6250. That's my arms race right there, the little badge. And this is obviously my VS score. So if I continue to use it, you'll see that it pops up here. And now my arms race is complete. My arms race is maxed, but it doesn't actually max out because I can still continue to score more points. And obviously I would hope that I can win this arms race so I can help my Warzone duel over here, but we all know that that's not always going to be the case. Regardless, what this one right here means by increased building power is it's not when you start to upgrade a building, it is when you finish the upgrade of a building. So bigger buildings give you more power, meaning more points. So your HQ, tech center, tank center, walls, your barracks, that stuff, that gets you more points. Your stuff like gold mines and wheat farms, it doesn't get you a whole lot of points, but they are nice to use as an absolute emergency. So I'll give you guys an example. I already showed you how it works. I need to finish my tech center for today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use as many of these building speedups as I possibly can, which I'm going to use all of it that I have. And then on top of that, I'm also going to use some of these universals. I have been saving my universals for a good reason because I've been trying to save it for my tech. I have 37 days and I would like to specifically use it to upgrade my tech. However, I'm going to use it to upgrade my tech center just for the purpose of this video. I'm going to max out this entire thing just like that, confirm, I don't care. So now that this is done, you'll watch. If I click on it, just like this, you'll see that score pop up at the top. I just gained 57,000 power from upgrading that building. Obviously, you get 25 points in my instance for increasing your building power by 1 point. So that is exactly what you should be doing on day 2. You should be waiting for your double dip time. There's a couple of other things. This will also be happening throughout the week. Dispatch UR trade truck 1 time and perform UR secret tasks. What that means is that your trucks, when you send them out, should only be orange, 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 because you get points for sending trucks out, but they have to be UR, which is orange. And same thing with secret tasks. These are pretty self-explanatory. You're going to want to send out nothing but orange tasks. You're going to get a butt ton of points just from doing those 2. And that's pretty much how you can secure your VS 7.2 million points. The last thing that you can do for day 2 is just recruiting survivors. So if you go to your little survivor recruitment tavern, you can just recruit these for some free and easy points. It's not a whole lot, but it does add up at the end of the day. Day 3 is Age of Science. Now, day 3 is actually kind of a tricky thing for a lot of people. This typically becomes known as the harder day for everybody, free to play or heavy spenders, because it is harder to earn points. Now, just like with building speed ups, you do get points for using research speed ups here. Now, I want to clarify one thing I haven't even touched on yet is that research or building or military speed ups, all of these can also be known as common or universal speed ups. The universals act as these if you're using them on this day. Increasing your tech power is literally the exact same thing as building power. Once you finish a tech research for that day, you get points or you get power for upgrading that tech research. And obviously, when that happens, you get points for that. It's pretty simple. This one's a bit trickier. Use Valor badges, use one Valor badge, and you get 600 points. So if you use 100 Valor badges, you're getting 60,000 points. If you use 1,000, you're getting 600,000 points, so on and so forth. Now, the reason this is tricky is because a lot of the times, people will use their Valor badges all throughout the week because they want to keep their tech going, which is rightfully so. You should be keeping your tech going all week. However, what you should be doing is trying to save all of your Valor badges to specifically use on tech day. I have 10,000, so I'll use all of them tomorrow on my tech day. What I'm going to be doing all week while I'm waiting to use my Valor badges on tech days, I'm going to be doing other things such as Hero or Squad 1 or Eunice or Development. Go watch my tech video if you're curious about what you should be doing. And that's pretty much kind of the dumbed down version of what you should be doing come Age of Science Day. We already talked about what you should be doing for radar tasks, and since day 3 or tech day is a day that you should be doing radar tasks, you would go through and try to claim all of these now. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be clicking on all these, claiming them, getting the scores for it, and then obviously when day 4 comes around of day of VS, which happens to be Train Heroes Day, you're going to be saving those again. You're going to be doing them, getting the red dot, do not claim them on day 4. That's pretty much day 3 wrapped up, except for one last thing, which is drone component chests. Now, I already talked about drones before in my drone video. If you haven't already watched that, you should. But drone component chests you earn throughout the week from doing just about anything and everything that you can think of. They're incredibly easy to earn and they get you free and easy points. It's nice. And you're just going to wait to open these until tech day. I don't know why that they decided to do this for tech day and why they didn't just include this on the first day, which is typically known as drone day, but you'd only want to open these on your tech day. Day 4 is Train Heroes. Pretty self-explanatory. You're going to want to try to recruit heroes. You're going to want to level your heroes up, and you're going to want to do everything hero related. I'm going to reiterate this again for the 5th time throughout the video. If it's not for that day, do not spend it. So you should only be spending your hero stuff on day 4 of Hero Day. Do not be upgrading your heroes. Do not be leveling up your heroes. Do not be unlocking your heroes any other day of the week except for Hero Day. Now, Hero Day is often the highest scoring day throughout VS, week in and week out for everybody because it is so easy to come by these points. If you're not maxing your points for Hero Day, then there's probably a problem. Perform one hero recruitment. Just like the Survivor, you're just going to try to recruit a hero. So you'll just go to your Recruit Heroes tab and you'll recruit heroes using tickets. That's pretty much all you have to do for that. Quick and easy points, simple, not a whole lot, but it does add up again. Use at least 660 hero EXP. As we talked about earlier in the video, you should have this because you shouldn't have spent it on day 1 unless directed otherwise by your leadership team. But these 3 things are kind of important to realize. A lot of the times what happens throughout the week is people are like, oh, I can upgrade my hero. And so they do, using shards. Shards are these beautiful puzzle pieces that you get, whether it be this for that specific character or universals, they're all shards. Now, if your hero is ready to be upgraded, it'll have a little green arrow down here saying, upgrade me, upgrade me, upgrade me. It's screaming at you. It's hard not to click that button. I get it, but you should wait until Hero Day to do it. And then what you're going to be doing is you're going to click on your hero, you're going to tier, and then you're going to click upgrade, upgrade, upgrade if you can. So like this, I have 200 universals almost, and I could definitely upgrade her to complete 5 stars right now, but I'm waiting until my Hero Day to do so. And that's the same thing with all these heroes. Upgrading all of these heroes uses 3 different types of shards, and it's pretty self-explanatory that the main way to gain points is just by tiering up your heroes on Hero Day. This one's a bit interesting. Skill medals. Use 1 skill medal. Now, a lot of people may not actually know how to do skill medals, and I will drop a hero video in the future about what you should be using skill medals on. But if you were curious about what they are, if you click on any hero of your choice, so I'll click on Carly and you click on skills here, every time you upgrade one of these, it is using skill medals and you'll get points for that. Again, you should be saving these strictly for Hero Day. If you didn't know about it, you probably are sitting on a bunch of these. And it may seem like it gets you far, but after like level 10, it becomes expensive to level these up. So you might have 400,000 and be like, oh, wow, that's great. It'll get you 20 levels. It's not a whole lot, but the points from it are nice and they all add up. That's pretty much everything for Hero Day. It is by far, in a way, the easiest and simplest day of the week, easiest easiest for you to score points and easiest for everybody to understand because it's just upgrading your heroes in any way possible. Day 5 is total mobilization. Now this one's kind of a hit or miss. It really just does depend. We'll go over it. So radar tasks, I'm not going to touch on for the third time. Just go back and watch my first 2 times if you didn't already. You get points for doing that. Then you get points for using construction, research, and training speed up. So you might think, oh wow, this is great. You get points from using so much and doing so much. But you shouldn't be using construction or research for this day, and you should be focusing strictly on the training aspect of this day. Now, as I said earlier, as an absolute last resort, you can refer to these. You can use your construction and research speed ups, but I don't recommend doing that. And I recommend trying to focus solely on getting all of your points through training speed up. Now you may be asking yourself, well, my drill grounds are full, and how do I get rid of troops so I can train new troops? Well, there's a couple of ways. You can reach out to somebody in your server or out of your server to hit you, or if you're participating in Warzone Duel or your fight day, which is day 6, we'll get into in just a little bit, your drill grounds shouldn't be full anyway. If they are, as I said, just reach out to somebody that can hit you. So reach out to your whale in your server and be like, hey, can you hit my base a couple of times to kill some troops? There's always ways to kill troops, and you can find out how to do that. Just ask around and you'll figure that out. But once your drill grounds are empty, what you're going to be doing is trying to obviously train troops. This is fun. This is where everything gets spicy and interesting. And the reason I said in one of my last videos is that you want to upgrade your barracks and have them waterfalled. I'm not a great example right now because mine are a little bit out of whack because I'm getting ready for T10 troops. But typically what I would do is I would have this at level 17, I would have this at 20, I would have this at 24, and I would have this one at level 27. If you have a level 17 barracks, it allows you to train level 6 troops. Now what I would do all week long, and I mean this all week long, I would train nothing but level 6s all week long in all 4 of my barracks. Come training day, what I would do is I would then go to my barracks, I would click on training, click here, you'll see there's a little green arrow, and now my drill grounds are full and everything, so I can't really do much, but there would be a little green upgrade button over here, and you would obviously upgrade them. Now, upgrading them gets you the same amount of points as it would be training them brand new, and the reason I say that you train level 6s all week is because then each different barracks you can train level 7s, level 8s, and level 9s, so you're getting 4 points for the cost of 1. It uses the same amount of speed ups and the same amount of resources to upgrade a troop from level 6 to level 9 as it costs to just make a level 9 troop. The waterfall method is awfully effective in making sure that you're maximizing your points. Because as I said, it takes the same amount of time of speed ups and the same amount of resources, but you get points for every unit that you upgrade. So if you're upgrading to level 7, you get 184. If you're upgrading to level 8, you get 207. And if you're upgrading to level 9, you get 230. So if you have a batch of level 6 troops and you're training them or you're upgrading them all the way up to level 9, you're going to get almost triple the amount of points because you're upgrading it 3 separate times instead of just going straight to level 9. If you have 500 troops and you're going straight to level 9, you're only going to get 230 points per troop. But if you have a level 6 and you're going up to level 9 and you take your time going to level 7 to level 8 to level 9, all of these combined, you'll be getting around 620 points per level instead of just 230. So you can see why the waterfall method is incredibly effective. Now again, mine's a little bit out of whack because I'm training for T10, so I'm sorry I'm not a great example right now, but that's what you're going to be doing. And I'm sure there's probably a video somewhere on the YouTube, or I can make a little video talking about the waterfall method and showing you guys how it works, but it is pretty important to help your VS score that you do waterfall. So now that you know how to maximize your points for day 6, that's pretty much everything that you can do. And we'll finally move on to day 7. Sorry, I don't know why I said day 6 multiple times. That's day 5. Total mobilization is day 5. Day 6 is enemy buster. And we're finally here to the interesting part. So day 6 is kind of just a conglomerate of everything that has already happened throughout the week. You get points for literally everything. It's a huge list. The only thing that you don't get points for is radars, which isn't that big of a deal. Obviously, points from UR trucks and UR secret tasks. I'm not going to go over it again because I already did. Same thing with construction, research, and training speeds. New is the healing speed up because you're going to be trying to heal your troops as you're fighting, and you get points for every different level of troop that you kill. So if your opponent or your 1v1 or you're killing somebody's base and they have level 8 troops, you're going to get 100,000 points just for killing 1,000 level 8 troops. The stronger level troops that they have, the more points you're going to get. And same thing, you're going to get points for just killing other people's troops. Now I say your opponent because in this specific example, we are going to be facing Haps come fight day. We get all of these nice juicy points for killing their troops if we kill them. But if they're too strong or you're too scared, you technically do get points from killing anybody in that war zone. So they're 1792. What I'll do is I'll teleport over to 1792, and if Haps is too strong or they bubbled up, I can just go around the outside of the map killing people's troops trying to get points. It's essentially a fifth of the points. So a level 10, if you kill it within your rival alliance, which happens to be Haps for me, I get 126 points. But if I'm facing anybody else and I kill a level 10 troop and they're not in Haps alliance, then I only get 25 points. So it's more effective to obviously just kill your own VS opponent. Regardless of all of that, if you lose troops, you also get points for that. So every troop that gets killed, you get points for. It's not a whole lot, so obviously you would prefer to do the killing instead of getting killed. Those are all the ways that you can score points on day 6. It seems like a lot, and reading this can be pretty overwhelming, but this is essentially you just get points for every different level of troops killed, and obviously the higher level troop, the more points you earn. You should be trying to focus solely on your VS opponent, so in this instance, again, Haps, but or as a last measure, you can kill technically anybody out of your server to score points. I gotta clarify out of server because I do not want to be the reason that you guys go attacking your own server and causing a civil war. Never, never, never attack your own server. You should have a nap in place, and your server needs to be as healthy as possible because having a healthy server means winning events and not fighting each other for all the time. I have seen both a healthy server and a toxic server, and I can tell you it is so much better being part of a healthy server. But I just want to be real with you guys and explain that VS is very, very important. You should be doing your absolute best week in and week out to win, but you should also try to be prioritizing your personal rewards. The difference between winning and losing in VS isn't that big of a deal when it comes to rewards because it's not a lot. However, making sure that you're securing all of your boxes week in and week out, so all of your little rewards here, that you get nice stuff out of. This is more important than actually winning the VS. As corny and as stupid as that sounds, that's the cold hard truth. And for people that say winning VS is more important than securing your boxes long term, they're just wrong. Even for this example, once you get to leagues and you start winning or you start losing, so just for example, we're in gold tier for Alliance League. The difference between winning and losing the week is 5 of each different type of resource chests and 200 Valor badges and 500 diamonds. It's really just not a huge deal. Obviously, winning your VS is important and definitely helps you because once you get to diamond tier, the rewards are very nice. Even gold tier compared to silver tier is very nice. You do want to still win your VS, but it shouldn't be your sole focus. You shouldn't be dumping 30 million points one week to try to secure a victory, and then next week you're struggling to even score your 7 million. Everything in moderation. This is the core key to life. This is the huge part, even in out of the game. Everything in moderation is important. Today's video is everything about heroes, or everything related to heroes at least. Now we'll do a quick introduction to heroes. If you're not sure what they are these little characters that you earn, and this is how you kill monsters, you kill other players, you earn them early game through unlocking your base. And also you can earn them by going to your hero recruit tab, recruiting them. And these are the possibilities of heroes that you can earn: SSR, blue, which is SR, and UR, which is orange. Now, mine looks a little bit different than yours probably will if you're early game. In fact, if you're early game, only Murphy will be able to be unlocked from your hero recruit tab. Now, later on in the game, like where I'm at, you do get most of the other heroes, not all for at least a long time. So unfortunately, if you're not buying the heroes, it's going to be quite a while before you're able to get them all unlocked for free. Now that's the basic rundown of what heroes are. And so now we're going to talk about the different rarities of heroes. I know I just touched on it in the hero recruit tab. However, there is a difference. You got UR, SSR, and SR. Now clearly UR is the best and you want to have nothing but UR in your squad. But if you don't have all your UR heroes, you want to fill them out with SSR heroes. Kind of like what I have going on with my squad 3, where I don't have enough UR heroes to fill it out, so I have Violet and Mason there. SR is just not good. SSR, they have specific buffs that help them fight monsters and kill monsters better, and UR has everything and then some. Now before we move on to the next topic, I'm going to explain one thing. Mason, Violet, Scarlet, Sarah, and I can't remember the 5th one, all become UR way later on in the game. Mason becomes a UR hero season 1, Violet season 2, Scarlet season 3, Sarah season 4, and then the 5th one I can't remember in season 5. Now gold is the best because not only does it give you the same buffs as purple does for monsters, but it gives you a better buff for monsters and a better buff across the board for literally everything else. The base attack on a gold hero such as Stepman is 47,500 versus for Mason it's 42,500. So now to break something else down really quickly, something that we need to really touch on is this screen here. Now, if you're a new player or even kind of an experienced player that hasn't really looked at this, you've never really seen this before. Now, if you read here, it says boost hero HP, attack, and defense by 20% respectively in battle, but you have to deploy 5 heroes of the same troop type. Now, what this means is that you should probably have 5 aircraft, 5 tank, and 5 missile. And if you're curious to know how you can see what is what, I mean, despite the fact that it's quite literally a helicopter, if you look in the top right, there's going to be a little aircraft symbol, and if you click on it, it says hero troop type aircraft. Now, the same thing happens with everybody else, such as Williams. He's a tank, and if you click on his little thing in the top right, it tells you that he's a tank. The same thing goes with Swift. If you click on it, it says hero troop type missile vehicle. Back to this screen, if you have 5 of the same type, your entire squad gets 20%. And I learned today that if you have 4 of the same type, your entire squad, including that one that's not the same type, also gets 15% buff. So if you're running, I don't know, 4 aircraft and 1 tank, you're still going to get that 15% buff on your tank hero. And obviously all of your aircraft heroes are going to get it as well. You can go all the way down to just 3 of one type. So 3 aircraft, 1 missile, 1 tank, you'll still get a 5% buff across your squad. And if you have 3 of one type and 2 of another, so 3 aircraft, 2 tank, you'll get 10% across the entire squad. I'm going to go over this screen right here too. Troop type counter. Tanks receive minus 20% damage, so 20% less damage from missile vehicles, meaning that tanks have a 20% overall buff against missile. Missile vehicles receive 20% less damage from aircraft, so therefore meaning that missile vehicles are 20% stronger than aircraft, and aircraft are 20% stronger than tanks. So this means if you have 5 aircraft going up against 5 missile, you're probably going to lose because that 5 missile is going to just overrun you with that 20% buff. Now, unless there's a huge difference between power between the missile and the air, then that's a different story. But if they're relatively close in power or the aircraft is even stronger by a couple million, chances are that that missile squad might actually win the battle. And the same thing goes with if you're full aircraft versus full tank, or if you're full tank versus full missile. This is very, very important to remember because you're going to be asking yourself often, well, why did I lose this battle? Why did I lose this? And it is because this 20% buff, along with everything else that adds up, this is going to help you win every battle. So if you're going up against an opponent that has a full tank squad and you know that your full aircraft squad can beat him, it's probably best to do your full aircraft squad versus him. And obviously same thing goes with everything else that I just went over. This is what we like to call the hero rock paper scissors. Now there's quite a few ways to upgrade your heroes and we're going to go in depth over all of them. The first one being XP. Now you can level up a hero using XP and it gets exponentially higher and higher and higher as you level up. So for example, to get from level 140 to level 141 might be 140 million, but the first 100 levels are like 40 million. EXP is the simplest and easiest way to upgrade your heroes. You do cap out at 150 once your HQ level 30. And once they upgrade to level 35 HQ, which is in a few seasons, then you will be able to go up to level 175. Now the second way you can upgrade hero is this gear right here, which I already went over in a video right up above. If you click on that, it shows you how to level your gear and how to do all of that. The third way to upgrade your heroes is something we're going to touch on in a little bit, and it's skills. All of these different skills do different things for your hero and they make it better. And the final thing that we're going to touch on right now is how to tier up your heroes. Now, if you'll notice, you may not have 5 stars on a hero. You might only have 4. You might only have 3. Now, in this specific instance, Kimberly has 5 stars. I'll go down here to Stepman, who's only at 3 stars for me. And if you'll see, it wants me to use these shards down here to upgrade him. Now, you can either use Universal, which are going to be easier to obtain, or your Stepman shards, which are going to be quite a bit harder to obtain. Now, in order to upgrade your hero, you just click Promote here, and it would add 1/5 of a star, and you do that 5 times, and it unlocks the full star. I've learned over my time of playing that it takes 975 total shards to get from 0 stars to 5 stars, with the 5th star being 500 total, so being a little over half of the equation. Now you may be asking yourself, well, I need shards, but I don't have many. How can I get some? That's kind of where is this game is funny is because you can earn shards literally through anything and everything. For example, once you unlock trucks in your server, you're going to be able to get shards through your trucks. Now, it's not a guarantee that you're going to get shards with your trucks, so you do have to keep refreshing them and re-rolling them in hopes that you're actually going to get the shards. I got quite a bit of luck, so I was able to get 3 shards on this one truck, and I was able to get 2 shards in a purple gear chest on my other one. I do recommend trying to refresh these until you have nothing but UR. It is the best. If you don't have the diamonds or the gems to spend on it, that's completely fine and understandable. And I wouldn't be mad at you for sending out an SSR truck, a purple truck, or so on and so forth. But this is going to be the main way that you're earning shards daily, and if you do this properly, you can earn anywhere between 10 and 12 shards a day. Now, not only can you earn shards from rolling out your trucks, but you can also earn shards from attacking other people's trucks. Now, again, you have to have trucks unlocked on your server in order for this to work. But if you find a truck like this one, for example, that has a shard, and if you click plunder, you have a chance at actually getting that shard off that truck. However, my rule of thumb when attacking trucks is that it has to have at least 2 shards for me to want to do anything. So like this one, I'll go ahead and I'll plunder this. There you go, mission complete. I didn't even get the shards. I got everything but the shards, so I'm going to go back through and hope that I get these 2 shards. This isn't what you're supposed to do. I got one of them. I never attack the same truck twice unless it has a lot of the same thing or a lot of something that you want. I just got unlucky and was trying to give you guys a better example. So those are the 2 ways truck related that you can get shards, either sending out your own or attacking another. Quick tip for sending out your own trucks, if you're curious, if you wait to send out your trucks until a few hours, maybe 10 hours after reset, they're going to have a lot more likelihood to come back home untouched. If you send them out right at reset when everybody's looking for them, then obviously odds are that you're not going to be able to have that truck come back untouched. Now, technically, through train, you can earn shards as well. That's typically once a day, and if you have to get lucky on the reset there as well, it is typically anywhere between 1 and 4 shards that you can earn on the train. Those are everything related to trucks and trains that you can earn shards for, and every little event you can earn shards through. So if you do your arms race daily and you click on this chest here and you click on this orange chest right here at the end, you'll see that you get 200 diamonds, 6 hero recruitment tickets, and 2 UR hero universal shards. So every day you can earn another 2 as long as you just hit these 3 boxes during 3 different times throughout the arms race. So like, for example, while we're doing this in the background, I have a couple of rallies running to use stamina so I can get to my 30,000 so I can unlock this chest number 3. And you just have to do this 3 times to get that 18 point mark. So if you do it during drone boost, which is pretty much just using stamina, if you use it during your hero advancement, if you use it during your base building, if you just unlock this 3rd chest 3 different times of the 6 times it is applicable, then you will be able to get 2 universal UR shards every day. Now, not only that, but if you also happen to win your arms race, you do get another UR hero universal shard, a deco chest, and a bunch of resources. Now, I could probably win mine today if I really tried. I just haven't put in a lot of time or effort, and I woke up not too long ago. Now, when I said events, I meant everything possible that you can think of. You can technically earn shards through every store possible. Campaign, you can buy shards here. Honor, you can buy shards here. Don't do that though. Remember, always only buy the gear blueprints from the Honor store. You get some from the Alliance store. If you go all the way to the bottom of the VIP store, you can buy some. And even with the SSR as well, and the SR. So as long as you have diamonds or you have any of the currency needed required, you can technically buy some every week through those stores. Doing things like Code Boss, I've already unlocked a lot of these, but once you reach different milestones of damage, you get more shards just for beating the Code Boss or hitting it a couple of times. So my next one, once I break 1 billion damage on Code Boss 64, I'll get 20 shards. All sorts of different hot deals, such as total mobilization if you want to buy it, if you want to spend the money. This is how you can get shards through spending money. Once you have heroes up to different shards, at least for season 1, you get these different little things week in and week out where you can get, if you have them up to 4 stars each, you can claim more shards here. Every event, such as Warzone Duel, even Alliance VS, every day when you unlock these chests, you get UR universal shards. You also get some SSR as well. Now, other ways that you can earn shards is you can technically earn them by doing different secret tasks, and also when you get the hidden treasures unlocked on your server, which I think is like day 20 something. Every time that you dig up one of these, you'll have a chance to earn Marshall or Murphy shards. Now, right now I have Hero Choice chests, and eventually it will become Hero Choice chests, which makes your life even easier. Now, when it comes to it, your lineup does actually matter. So obviously you want to have defenders in the front. Your best defender should always be in this spot right here, and your second best defender should always be here. Your best attacker should always be in the back middle, except for one specific example, which I'll say later. Your second best attacker should always be in this back left spot, so right here where DVA is for me. And then obviously your worst attacker or your support should always be in this back right spot here. Now the only example I said that it does make a difference is here on a tank squad, best defender, second best defender. Your best attacker should be on the back right, actually, and I learned that Marshall should be in your middle spot right here, with your second best attacker being here, which would be Stetman. I don't have Stetman 5 stars, so for me, I have Swift here right now. Now, the reason for that being is that Marshall has a specific skill of his that makes your squad and your best defender so much better, which, again, we'll go over very, very shortly. For now, the main idea for you should be best defender here, second best defender, obviously, in that last defensive spot. Your best attacker should always be in the back middle. Your second best attacker should be on the back left, and your third best attacker should be in the back right or support. That's the general idea. So as I was saying, I was talking about hero special abilities or hero skills. Now, when it comes to most hero skills, what you're going to want to do for defending heroes is you're going to want to upgrade the top right and you're going to want to upgrade the bottom left. Now, the bottom left is a passive ability that everybody gets, whether it's attack or defense, but specifically for defense, what it's going to do is it's going to boost your ability to take more damage. So you're going to take 38% less damage just by getting it up to 4 stars and upgrading it to level 25. While I do agree that having more attack is great on your defenders, focusing on the auto attack isn't necessarily something that's important, at least in my eyes. And as you'll see, I'll go through all of my defenders really quickly and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. I only have level 10 on Lucius, but I have level 25 on his tactics and his passive because of the extra defense it gains. And in particular, his tactic is phenomenal. Now, tactics are kind of like a support thing. They don't only affect that specific hero most of the time, but they affect the entire squad. So Lucius, for example, boosts all allies' energy damage reduction by 18.25%. So obviously putting more and more into this helps your entire squad, not just the individual. And going back to Carly, the exact same thing. Attack all enemies dealing physical damage equal to 171.16%. Attack and reduce the target's energy damage by 14.25. So essentially what this does is she attacks the entire opposite squad. And what happens is all of them do less damage, therefore helping your entire squad. In her instance, it's called a debuff. Whereas in Lucius, it's called energy protection. I'll give you one more example of a defender really quickly and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So again, physical damage, I only have it at the level 10. He's on out of my main squad, so I don't have his skills completely maxed out. But if you look at his top right, it's a buff. After casting the skill, boosts the defense of the front 2 units by 45%. Of course, we want to level that up because, again, it helps more than just one individual hero. And then if we look at his passive, reduce all damage taken in battle by 25.5%. So typically with your defensive heroes, you're going to want to upgrade the top right and the bottom left pretty evenly. I do it in groups of 5, but you can do it in groups of 10. Next up is your attackers. Now, when it comes to attack, honestly, it's a bit trickier because you could do the passive because the passive does help, boosts his hero's attack by 35.5%. But the reason I focus on the top left is typically because the amount of buff or the amount of damage that it does in one particular instance helps tremendously. Fire a missile at the enemy dealing energy damage equal to 257.52% of the attack. So she does one attack and it does a boatload of damage. And if you notice, the cooldown is only 1 second. Now, the reason that's important is because that means every second that she's alive, she does this every single second. Now, granted, yes, the passive does do that all the time. There is no second cooldown. However, with other buffs that you're receiving from your squad, from your decorations, from everything across the board, this is just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And I do find this to be more important than the passive, the auto attack. And then obviously when it comes to tactics, kind of the same thing with the defense. This is just a huge buff in one particular instance. So in hers, prioritize attacking one back row unit dealing energy damage equal to 771.32% of the attack with a 20% chance to stun the target for 2 seconds. Now what this means is that not only is she doing something, she's doing a ton of damage to one of the heroes in the opposite person's back row, but she also has a 20% chance to stun them entirely. So she's knocking their health down maybe a tenth of the way. Plus, there's a chance that she can get them to stop attacking for 2 seconds. In my opinion, if the stun had a higher percentage chance, I would think that this is the best tactic, this is the best buff, this is the best everything in the game. Now, I could go over every single ability with you guys. I could go over everything, but realistically, I think it's kind of a bit repetitive. So what I'm going to say is for anybody that's an attacker, focus on the top right and the top left. Anybody that's a defender, focus on the top right and bottom left. And then in special circumstances, like we have right here with Marshall, this is where it gets a bit tricky because depending on what type of support you have, they may actually be better to upgrade their auto attack. But in Marshall's instance, it is the top right and bottom left. Again, these buffs are huge. After casting the skill, increases the attack of all team members by 13.5%. So again, he's increasing the attack of everybody on your squad, while simultaneously with his other passive, in battle boosts this hero's skill cooldown speed by 26%. So that just means that this is going to be even faster. Reduce all damage taken by the unit with the highest attack. So in an example where your tank squad is your number 1 instance, Kimberly is my number 1 attacker on my tank squad. This is why I was saying earlier when it came to lineups that we have Kimberly on the outside. Because of his buff, where your best attacker gets an extra 10% worth of defense, having him in the back middle, keeping him alive, in turn means that you're keeping Kimberly alive longer as well. So having her not in the back middle will keep her alive the same amount of time it would if she was in the back middle, as long as Marshall is alive. Now, I do think it's important to put a lot of emphasis on these two in particular. I don't really care about the auto attack on him. I don't think it's horrible, but again, in Marshall's instance, these two are the best. Now, it's a bit trickier to talk about when it comes to tank because McGregor's special abilities are a bit odd. So, for example, his Unyielding Heart, which is his debuff, prioritizes taunting 2 front enemies, reducing their attack by 10.75% for 8 seconds with a cooldown of 10 seconds. While that is good, the whole problem with it is that his buff actually causes the enemies to focus on him. Now, that may not seem like a bad idea, but when everybody's focusing on just one hero, it tends to lead to him dying quicker, which again, in turn means that his buff isn't working as long and everybody else dies quicker. Because without your best defender, obviously, nobody else is going to stay alive. But regardless, I still do think it is important to upgrade your top right, your tactics, and your bottom left, your passive, over the auto attack. Today's topic is all about drone chips. Everything drone chip related, how to get them, everything, what they are, how to use them, etc. Now, this is a continuation of my previous drone video. If you guys recall, I said that I would have a video designated to drone chips, and I wasn't lying, and it's time for that video now. So let's touch on what they are, how they work, everything about them, and we'll go into detail a little bit. So we'll start here. When you get the drone chips unlocked in your server, you're going to have a new building called the Chip Lab. Now, you're going to want to level this up to 20, but you're not going to want to level it beyond that. Now, just like with the gear, as I talked about in my gear guide, obviously orange is the best and you pretty much only want orange on everything. However, unlike the gear guide, the purple ones are still useful here. Now, each hero specification has their own type of chips. So you have chips for aircraft, you have chips for missiles, and you have chips for tank. In order to make a purple chip, you need 400 of the purple basic chip material, and in order to make one orange, you need 800 of the premium chip material. So orange is obviously a lot more expensive than purple. Now, when it comes to it, as I was already showing you, there is 4 different types of chips. You have the offensive skill chip, you have the interference skill chip, you have the defensive skill chip, and you have the initial move skill chip. I'm going to go a little bit into detail about what each one is right over here in this chip lab. So I'm going to use aircraft as my example, and that's because I'm running an air squad. So I will touch on what each chip does and the difference in them. So let's start with the orange chips. The absolute quantum field, the aircraft initial move skill chip, is going to be the first orange one. Now, if you want to know what it is, you just click on it and it tells you everything of what it does. So this one, at the beginning of the battle, your aircraft heroes gain a shield with a fixed value of 200,000 for 9 seconds. Once it's all gone, all damage received is reduced by 4%. So this is essentially an extra bout of defense, or as this would say, a shield. Now this essentially just gives your hero extra HP and extra defense, at least of that type. So again, with this being an aircraft, this only applies to aircraft heroes. As we go over to the Lethal Firestorm, which is the offensive skill chip for the aircraft heroes, it says when the drone bombs, your aircraft heroes gain 3% attack boost, lasting 3 seconds. The drone bombing hits 1 more targets. So essentially what this means is all of your heroes are getting an offensive skill boost of 3%, meaning they're doing 3% more damage for about 3 seconds, and the drone bombing hits 1 more targets, meaning that your drone is actually hitting another hero. Now here with the Memory Ultra Fission, which is the interference skill, if you click on it, it tells you when the drone bombs, your back row aircraft heroes get a 4% damage increase. At the same time, reduce the damage of all enemy tactics by 3% for 3 seconds. Now obviously we already know what 4% damage buff does to your back row heroes, meaning that they're all doing 4% more damage. But it says, at the same time, reduce the damage of all enemy tactics by 3% for 3 seconds. Now, essentially what this means is that when you have this equipped, let's say you're facing off against Kim for just an example here. If you click on her tactics ability, it tells you what it does. Fire 8 rockets at random enemies, yada yada. You can go read this. I already did in the heroes a little bit. I didn't go too in depth, and I probably will in the future. But regardless, if you click on it, she has a skill called Tactics. Tactics is the hero's ultimate skill with a decisive impact. The cooldown interval of Tactics is affected by the cooldown time reduction. Now, essentially what this means is that her special ability is considered Tactic. And it's not just her, it's everybody else's. Their special abilities are called Tactics. Now, as we read here with this, it does reduce the damage of all enemy tactics by 3%, meaning that the strongest thing that attacking heroes can do, their special ability, is even weaker now due to this chip. And finally, we go over to the Gravitational Resonance Armor. Aircraft Edition. At the beginning of the battle, your aircraft heroes gain 8.5% defense boost and your front row gains an extra 15% defense boost until the battle ends. Now this is huge, and this gives you such a huge strategic advantage when it comes to fighting people. Your defensive heroes are now all of a sudden just extra beefy. This is taking a quarter of your hero's overall defense and then just adding that onto their full base stats. Now, these chips are pretty much the same across the board. I don't even think there's a slight variation. Maybe I'm wrong. I think that they're all the same. At least for the orange ones, they're all the same. When it comes to the purple ones, they're literally the orange ones, just like 10 times worse. Now, that's not to say that they're not usable, because they definitely are usable, and I'm personally using the purple chips until I have orange for my entire thing. And definitely, you're going to want one of each type for your squad. So if you're running a missile squad, you're going to want to grab one of each type of chip. As I can show you here, what my skill chips looks like, I have 2 orange and 2 purple. I don't think it really makes a difference in which order you do them. I personally prefer to just go for the initial move skill first, and I always try to go for offensive skill second. And then I'll probably go for the defensive skill third, and then finally I'll go for the interference skill. It doesn't really make a difference which order you do it, so if you've done it a little bit different than me, or you want to do it a little bit different, it doesn't make much of a difference, but that's just the way that I do it. Now, since I only have one chip that's leveled up, I'll show you exactly what this looks like. Now, obviously, you'd prefer to level orange chips because orange chips are so much better than purple in pretty much every category. This is how you can level your chips. If you go to your chip lab, you click inventory, it shows you what chips you have. I'll show you this one, for example. I have 2 stars, meaning that I've leveled this twice. As you can see here, if you go to the star overview, it tells you how many stars I've gained on it. You can go all the way down to 10. And the same thing with a skill boost, except you can only go down to 5. It is the exact same way with the orange ones as it is the purple, as you can see here. But as you can see here on this screen, when you actually click on your drone, if you click over here on your drone, you click skill chip, and let's say you have this one that you want to level up. You click ascend. It shows you exactly what you need in order to ascend it. Now, in order to ascend, you need an extra one. So you have this one and then plus 1 more. So you should have 2 of them, and then it'll bring you up to level 2, etc., all the way down to the end. So you need, it's just like decorations. As you can see here with decorations, if you click on any of them, it says you need blank out of 6. So in this instance, I have 4 out of 6, meaning I need 2 more to level it up to level 3. That is going to be exactly how it is with skill chips across the board, purple or gold alike. Now you'll see here something I haven't really touched on. When it comes to ascending, it doesn't only just increase this power or this power, but it does increase exactly like increasing drone components. So for the first star, your shield value increased to 400k. It was originally at 200k, but if you level it up, it's now 400. Then the second one is going to be a buff to that specific skill chip. So what that means is, yeah, the 200k, that's pretty base, but the 4%, that is the skill. That is what we call the skill here. The 200k is just kind of a blanket thing, and as you can see here, you're going to get a lot more buffs to that overall defense versus the skill. You'll only get 3 to the skill, and you'll get 7 to the actual shield buff. And it's going to be like that across the board with every single one of these. If you click on the preview and you go down, it's only going to be 3 for the actual skill. Now the reason for that is because obviously skills are more important than base stats. So the first priority of yours, instead of leveling anything up, just like with it comes to gear, you should be trying to get at least one orange chip for each of these slots. Purple isn't bad, but it is just pretty much a placeholder until you can actually get an orange into that slot. Now, along with drone chips, there also comes this tactical drone combat boost that you get. So if you click quick add, it'll have stuff that you can get, such as drone XP or other drone parts. Now, this is a separate leveling from your actual drone level or your components. So you already had these two, and I already have an in-depth video about what these two do. But if you come over here to the tactical drone, this is a completely different ordeal. Now, what the combat boost does is it allows you to add chip skills or have better skills added to your chips. It also gives you more chip presets, but that's honestly not that big of a deal because most players that are watching this are only going to have one set of chips for their squad because a lot of them don't really prioritize past their first squad, which is not what you should be, only focusing on your first squad. You'll see here it's kind of important to get this leveled up because it chip skill boost increased to +1, +2, all the way down to +5. And then finally down here. Attributes significantly increased from level 751 to 900. Drone power can increase by over 2 million in total. So that's way later on. As you can see here, I'm not even level 100 yet, but way later on I'll get to that. Now what this does is what you can do here. If you click on this and you click on this little add thing and you click, oh yeah, sure, you know what? I don't want to use this missile. If I click confirm and I add that, it levels up my drone. So excess chips, excess drone data, excess drone XP, which came from this. If you click on this, you'll see drone combat boost EXP card. I have a few of those, and also there's other ways that you can get that in the future. All sorts of stuff that adds up into this. So I'll take out my tank one because I don't really care for tank right now. I'll click add and I'll click promote. And that brought me all the way up to level 89, which boost my power significantly. So not only do you have the skill chips that I've already gone over, but you also have this combat boost thing. Now you might be asking, well, how do I get the chips and combat boost? Well, there's actually quite a few ways. To go over the first one, which is kind of the main way that you're going to get it, is you're going to get these choice chests or just chip chests in general. Now, obviously the UR skill chip chest is the best. The SSR is obviously second best. Choice chest actually is probably second best. And then the normal one is going to be second best or third best. The SR is probably going to be fourth best and R is going to be fifth. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the rarities. Obviously, as we discussed, orange is best. And what happens is each chest gives you a chance at getting an orange. And it obviously goes higher the higher you get. However, if you click on this skill chip chest and it shows you have a 2% or a 0.2% chance of getting any orange out of this. You have a 4.8% chance of getting any purple, 30% to get blue, and 65% to get green. You should never, ever have these equipped to your drone. It should always be purple or higher, preferably orange. So all of these excess chips or extra stuff that you're going to get out of these drone chests, that is what you're going to be using to upgrade this. And honestly, I'm going to walk back my statement. I said that the chip choice chest might be second best. I think it might just be the skill chip chest. The normal one is probably second best versus the choice chest. Because with the choice chest, you don't have a chance of getting anything orange. But with this one, you do actually have a chance at getting something orange, a decent chance at that. So these chests, you're going to want to open on day 1 of VS. So your first day, which should always be drone day, or radar training day. If you come here, it tells you right here at the bottom, for each chip chest opened and 1 premium chip material gained, you get points. So save all of your chip chests until day 1 of VS. Now, when it comes to these types of chests, just like drone component boxes, there is so many ways that you can earn stuff, even just to get the skill chips created. If you come over here to the skill lab, you'll see that you can create a chip with 800, as I already discussed earlier. You can earn these through VS, you can earn them through daily stuff, you can earn them pretty much through any event. Now, if I come here to VS and I click on the final box, you'll see that down here I get 10 premium chip material. And that may not seem like a lot, but you also get 10 from the last box and the first one and the last box and the second one. So all in all, you get 30 overall premium drone chip thingy, whatever you want to call that. I'm not going to keep correcting myself because I can't remember what it's called. You're going to get 30 premium chip materials just by unlocking all 9 chests. And that does add up over time. And after about 10 days, it puts you at 300. After about 20 days, it puts you at 600. And after about 26 or 27 days, you're going to have enough to make a skill chip, a premium one at that. That's just one of the ways that you can earn the material. And if you come over here to your shops after this all unlocks, you'll see that there's plenty of different ways that you can buy it as well. For example, if you're rolling in diamonds and you have 8,000 that you want to spend on skill chip chests, you can go ahead and buy 10 of those. In the Alliance store, that'll update too, and you'll be able to buy some SR skill chip chests here as well. And you'll also be able to buy Drone Combat Boost EXP cards. I do recommend buying those out every week. In the Honor store, we do have the skill chip chest UR. I don't recommend it mainly because you get a guaranteed chance at this and you get 100 premium chip material. However, I still recommend only buying the gear blueprints in this store. And finally, the campaign store, you can also buy skill chip chests, but you have two options here, R and SSR. You can also buy the basic chip material. I do recommend buying all three out each week. So there you can see that you can buy them. And as I was saying a couple of different times, if you click on this chest and you click on information, it shows you what you can get. But if you also see this, you will also get premium chip material times 30. So between your Alliance dual chest boxes and also between buying all these skill chip chests, you're going to be able to get different materials and everything is going to add up over time. Now that's pretty important because it is not easy and it is not cheap to get these. You can technically buy it if you want out of the daily must buy. You can buy the daily drone skill chip, which is actually not a bad buy if you want me to be honest, for $5. It's not horrible. But the same thing here over the weekly deal, you'll see for $50 you can buy the weekly drone skill chip. I think that this is slightly worse, and not slightly, I think that this is quite a bit worse than the other one, but I don't think that this is the worst thing that you can buy. I definitely think anything drone related is a decent purchase. I don't think it's worth it to buy anything if you're just trying to get battle data, but for everything else, I do think that these are all worth it. And that's pretty much the overall way to actually earn the stuff to get the chests and unlock this and unlock that. Everything overall is just earned after time and week in and week out. So to pretty much summarize what drone skill chips are, is they are an extra buff or they're an extra help to increase your combat power, to increase your damage, to increase your defense, to increase your special ability. Drone chips essentially just buff your abilities. And I know it may seem small or like a nuance at first, but it definitely becomes a huge deal to help you grow and help you become more powerful. The better your drone skill chips and the better your understanding of this, and obviously the more time that you spend in this, just like your drone overall, is going to help you become a much better player. And with this entire game being based around war and being based around combat, obviously this is really important. So I'm going to touch on one more last thing is you can see here that after you get your combat boost up to certain levels, you unlock chip presets. And I know that I said most people aren't going to be worried about it, but if you click here, you'll see skill chip presets right down here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and these are unlocked after each level. So if you do have 4 good squads, you can set your aircraft to be aircraft, you can set the second one to be tank, you can set the third one to be missile, and if your fourth one is primarily aircraft or primarily tank, you can set that one to be aircraft or tank as well. Now, if you're focusing on just one, all you need is one of each type. So you just need one of gold for whatever your squad may be. So mine's aircraft again. I'll have all 4 aircraft, and I probably won't ever craft another gold outside of that. Or if I do, I'm going to dump all of it into these chips. So I'll just craft another absolute quantum field for my aircraft instead of worrying about a tank one, because I want my aircraft to be as strong as possible. And if I craft a second one of these, then I can obviously level this up. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Do I want to have 4 different presets for all of my squads, or do I want to focus heavily on my first squad and make my first squad such a heavy hitter that it doesn't really make a difference? My priority will always be setting your squad 1 as the overall behemoth or power creator for you. So to summarize, get these chips, get all orange here, and then focus strictly on just upgrading the orange chips. Don't worry about the purple. Purple's fine to start with, but get all gold as soon as possible. If you already have all 4 chips, then try to grab an extra chip of this so that way you can level this up, and once it's leveled up, obviously it increases your power. And that, in my opinion, is so much more important than trying to worry about having one of each different skill chip for each different type of squad, even though you're never going to touch missiles.